Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the Fast Travel Lounge. You're listening to episode 123. That's right, 1, 2, 3. We can count, Steve. Steve, you got enough fingers? 1, 2, 3. What comes after 3, buddy?
I don't know. I ran out of.
It's as simple as the ABCs. So come on.
Well, if you know the song, it doesn't go past 1, 2, 3.
It's true, actually. No,
Man, what a Jackson
there is a
5
hard
reference.
cap.
Who would have thought a Jackson 5 reference in this day and age?
Whoa. 5 is after 3. I think we have to give him that point.
I refuse.
Oh, not wrong. Not wrong.
The real trick is if you can count up to 6 on one hand. Anyway, I am Patrick. I am joined by Steve, as always.
Hey, I got shouted out before Saif.
You know what?
Whoa, hey, I'm moving up in the world. Sorry, Saif.
Say high five.
No, you got to
Say
bark
high
into the
five right
microphone.
now.
Holy shit, man. Get fucked.
He failed the assignment immediately.
Yeah, he did. Seth, say hi. Say hi.
Yeah,
High five.
Mm-hmm.
High five. Hey, there we go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No.
High five.
Hey, that's the one. He doesn't leave me hanging.
Did you have that? Did you have that in New Zealand?
High five.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
That's
it was
crazy,
just a rebroadcast of the Australian one. I don't think we had the budget or the number of people to do 5
You
in
didn't
New
have
Zealand.
5 people to make a show.
we did it. real bare bones stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Our childhoods are very same.
Yeah, the Wiggles.
Very similar.
and,
I don't know why I said very same.
We did. I was at a 30th birthday, and people were reminiscing about like childhood shows that people watched, and there are a couple that are very New Zealand specific that I don't think escaped New Zealand, but
Probably
people mention them, and then everyone all together was like, "I remember that."
Did you guys have Cheese TV?
Nope, never heard of it. Probably fake.
No, that was probably a Channel 10 specific thing over here. Was it Channel 10?
I might have been
I
wrong.
think so.
It was Channel 10, yeah. Yeah, it was.
See, my problem was that whenever I went to go visit visit family over in Canada, my eyes would be opened to just how many cartoons there were, because there was only like
they have TVs that have channels that are just cartoons, and we get fucking
exactly
an hour and a half
blew
a
my
day.
mind. Yeah, and you know, I have this like visceral memory of like staying at my grandparents' place. And on one of those one of those channels, it's called Teletoon. I'm sure the channel still exists, but just plays back-to-back cartoons. Up next, Family Guy. Me looking at that, going, "Oh, that'll be some like sitcom-y thing." And then I'm pretty sure it was the episode with the Pope. I don't remember.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. And Peter's dad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that one. Like, for some reason, I just distinctly remember. I cannot tell you what age I was when I did this, but I distinctly remember that's it. I'm putting my foot down. He puts his foot down. He's in the car, just slams the brake, and Brian flies into the windscreen. I just laughed. I laughed so hard at that, and I'm like, you know what?
That is because that's in like season 2 or something. So it was before they got cancelled the first time. So it's got that really weird art style.
Yeah.
That's very different. And there wasn't a cutaway every 4 fucking seconds.
Nah,
the cutaways really
it actually had like a plot. Save. Have you seen the pinnacle of TV?
American
Not a single
okay.
cutaway.
Okay, you know what? All right, you know what? Throw out the schedule for this week. We're not doing Steam charts. I'm sure people are playing or not playing whatever meta game of the week it is. Let's just do like a real quick flash. I say one number higher than Steve. I'm right. Cool. All right, we move on. Steve takes another L. So the Family Guy American Dad thing. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this because I have this
Dad's
theory.
way better.
Yeah, no. That's part of the theory. That's not the full theory. The full theory is there's a crossover point where early Family Guy better than early American Dad.
Season
late
9.
American Dad better than late Family Guy. Where is the crossover point?
Season 9.
Season 9? That's
I
you
wouldn't
answered
know
that
specific
very
season.
quickly.
Like I just
remember
watched
because-
episodes on TV, so I didn't know what season/episodes they were. So I wouldn't know a specific point.
No, it's
I'd
roughly
say
around season 9.
If I had to make a guess, like, okay, let me see when American Dad started.
Well, if we think
you
about when
reckon-
America started and then work our way forwards from there.
American
When
Dad
was the
started in
first time American had a dad?
2005. I want to say maybe around 2009 then is the crossover point.
That'd be about season 9 because I think Family Guy started in like 99 or something. Holy shit, you've cracked it, Seth.
Wow. All right. I actually don't have a great crossover point in my head, but it's just it's fascinating how often that this has come up with people going, man, recent American Dad's just been killing it.
I feel like American Dad's been killing it for quite some time as well. Like
I'm sure
pretty
they
early
have,
on, it
like-
started getting really killer.
Seth, you need to remember my version of recent could be anywhere from yesterday to like the beginning of the first lockdown. it's all recent.
I was just about to say, like,
Man,
Yeah, go on.
that's a short span of time, because recent for me could be anywhere from yesterday to 2011.
good
and I'll
lord.
also flag as well that if you're watching American Dad Funniest videos, compilations, those probably do show you out of context snippets that are very funny. And it's the same thing if you're watching Family Guy Funniest compilations. So I think it's probably one of those things is we're really going to have to like lock down and then just like watch both side by side. Like you've got one screen on the left, one screen on the right, whichever one
the
makes
screen
you
in the middle
laugh
is
the
just
most.
Subway Surfers.
Oh, hang on. Reddit Am I the Arsehole post.
And you're wearing one of those eye trackers that sees which screen you're spending most of your time on.
Hey, this guy's looking at his phone the whole time. There are probably, because I did go through a stage like the last 2 years of watching like because had a Disney Plus subscription, and in Australia a Family Guy's on Disney Plus for whatever fucking reason. And I went
Disney
through and
owns
like,
Fox,
watched.
that's why.
Yeah.
But it's not in the United States. It's not on Disney Plus. Anyway,
They're
doesn't
probably
matter.
writing out a contract with whoever has it.
Right, Netflix. There's too many streaming companies, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But like there was like
I love
definitely
how
like
streaming has gone so
episode-
bad now that like they're starting to sell bundles of them, so it's basically just paying cable again.
Yep, we did it.
Yeah,
we
it's like-
reinvented cable.
I hated it. But anyway, there are some like new Family Guy episodes that are fucking hysterical, that are really funny, and there are other ones that it's like meh. But when you think about it, they're doing 25 episodes a season, and like unlike this very show, not every episode can be a hit. So I think it's just quantity over quality.
Yeah,
Then you think
that's
about
true.
things like series like Smiling Friends, and when I watched that, and those are what 10-minute long episodes, and there's like 16 of them over 2 seasons. Every fucking episode is fucking hysterical, and it's really good. But I want more Smiling Friends. So what I'm trying to say is I don't know what like the answer to this
There's
is.
also a very
Make
good
a lot of content very good.
There's a very good video essay that came out a while ago by Super
Oh,
Eyepatch
Jesus.
Wolf, where he's talking about Modern Simpsons, and I think he's framed it as is Modern Simpsons good now? And it's just him going through like the most recent season and ranking the episodes on like a scale of 1 to 10. And he's like, the overall season average count has to hit 7 for it to be considered good. And there's some good, he has some pretty good episodes in there. Like it turned out really well, but his average was like 6.8 or 6.9. So it was like, it didn't hit the baseline of the entire season is good, but there were enough killer episodes in there that he was willing to give them a pass.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But like Simpsons isn't like there's no continuity. As far as I'm aware, maybe the new seasons are. Like, let me just watch the fucking the episodes that are 9s, and I'll. But it's all subjective, and when we're really talking about it anyway, there are probably some things I'll find really funny, and some things that you guys don't find funny.
Yeah, and the downfall of Simpsons is just because like they were hitting 9s consistently, and then they fell off to being like 6s and below for so long.
And it was like the golden era. They had like the writers that they had doing that were like the pinnacle. Like I don't know any of their names, but I'm sure they're really funny. Like, well, didn't Conan O'Brien used to write for them?
Yeah,
Like,
I was going to say that.
and it was the 90s. They could do it in the early 2000s. Like, there wasn't any cancel culture. They could say whatever they wanted.
Oh, here we go.
I say that, but like it's I say
White
that
man
as
getting on
Simpsons
about
being
cancel
anyway.
culture.
We get it. Trump won.
What do you mean?
Right?
The Simpsons are yellow.
You've already won. Leave it
No,
leave
you
it alone.
are the white man in this, getting on about cancel culture.
No, but I was being dramatic about it. I don't really care. It's not real.
He's saying that after getting
South
called
Park's
out.
good. How is this? It doesn't matter. South Park's still fucking going as well.
Yeah,
Futurama, that
think,
fucking hits.
Yeah, Futurama, constant bangers. Don't know about the new stuff or the reboot stuff. No idea on that front. But the South Park one's interesting because I think they've fallen into the Simpsons thing of they used to just hit, in my opinion, 9s, particularly when they're parodying just how absurd everything. I'm going to say was specifically because leading up to 2016, bangers. And then when Trump won and it blindsided even the South Park writers, they just did not know what to do to make it more absurd than reality. And it slumped. And now,
Yeah. Well, it's the same argument that people go like, "Oh, Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be shit because like, what could be more funny than reality, right?"
Yeah. No, it's a similar argument. And so the recent, I don't know if I can say that I've seen all of the recent South Park stuff. I definitely have tried to keep up with it because I generally quite enjoy it. But recent South Park has been good, but not the my sides level of this is hilarious. Like, not every episode of older seasons, but certainly some standout ones of just you go back in memory lane, watch just the all timers. Cool. Well, now that we've rose-tinted our glasses enough, should we move on and see what we've been doing for this week, other than tinting the glasses and consuming old media?
No, I think we should talk about cartoons some more.
Ah, you're right. Courage the Cowardly Dog. How many traumatic episodes have we all seen?
All of them.
I've only seen
so traumatic they're all buried as well.
Dog. Yeah, I was going to say a discount to the family therapist when you mentioned that you've seen Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Family therapists, even.
A Powerpuff Kid.
Any therapist you like, really. No, we probably should get to Round Lounge for this week. What have you been up to, Steve? No, actually, you know what? You went first the intro and you fucking didn't get off your high horse about it. Seth, what have you been up to?
I have been doing many things. Let me look at Pocket. One of them for sure I want to talk about is doing Shadow Generations. What was the other thing I put on here? All right, Monster Hunter World's beta happened.
Oh my god. Oh, this man had to think about it.
What about Monster Hunter Alpha?
You know what?
Monster Hunter Sigma.
You used to hit 9s, but now you be hitting 6s.
Is that for my talking game or my editing game? Don't answer that.
You know what?
I don't want to know.
Did I drop out? I dropped out, didn't I?
Anything else?
Dabbled a little bit in Pokemon TCG Pocket. I don't think we'll have a lot to say about that one.
We'll see how we go.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
Speaking of nostalgia glasses, I picked up Digimon Survive for like $20 a couple weeks ago. Oh boy.
Is that the 5th Metal Gear game?
Oh boy.
No, this one was the 13th Fire Emblem.
You're not actually far from it.
You're supposed to lean into my bit, not outshine it with your own one.
Does Steven die for anyone else?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
What do you mean? I didn't say anything. I was waiting for you guys to finish talking.
Yeah, you waited a little bit too long. It felt like you left after we cut you off.
I didn't have anything to say. I said what I've been cut off. I don't need to say anything more.
Okay. No, it's fine. No. You know what?
I'll
Just
fix
put
it
down
in
the shovel.
post.
Yeah. Thank you, editor. Cool. What have
I gotta
been
earn
up
back
to
that
this
9.
Yeah, you can try. I have also been dabbling in TCG Pocket.
Look out! Hang on. Actually, no. Fuck it. I've completely fumbled it. Because if Steph's earning back his 9, I'd be like, you watch out for 7. But remember that 7, 8, 9.
Steven really fell off after season 2.
I missed season 2, Stephen.
Fuck off. That's it. That's insanely good.
Back when Conan O'Brien was writing Steve's jokes. Oh man, now it's just cutaways and references that people don't get. What the fuck are you on about?
Damn it. Okay, that was good.
It's getting too meta. He's starting to references his own jokes from within the show itself.
Yeah. Time to take him out.
This is just like that time that we did Steam charts.
No, don't think about it. Right, what have I been up to? I've dabbled in TCG Pocket as well, played the Monster Hunter beta as well. I also want to mention, I don't want to talk about it because it's not finished yet, and I will definitely, I'm sure I'll talk about it properly later. But first 3 episodes of Arcane Season 2 are out.
Oh, right. Along
that.
with that being out, they also showed off Jinx in the fighting game.
Ah, okay, cool. I didn't realize that they had a coinciding event on that side. So I don't want to say anything other than it is very good. I cannot wait for the next set of episodes to drop next week. They're doing them in 3 batches, which is
insane.
Fine. Like, it's not like Invincible just deciding to take a break partway through for some fucking reason. But I am very keen to continue consuming because this is a very good season so far. Oh boy. And also, very quick shout out to Ramesses B, who I hope is a big fan of the show. I'm a massive fan of his music, who, after hearing one of the songs that came out in the first episode, went, I got to remix that, and then remixed and uploaded a actually beautifully done remixed version in, like, an evening and a morning, like less than a day. Yeah, just crazy, just absolutely cracked work. Like, he knew exactly what he wanted, nailed it. A beautiful remix. Anyway, yeah, go watch Arcane Season 2. Highly recommend. Why don't we chat Monster Hunter first?
Monster Hunter first, hey?
Yeah, I figure if we're going to talk about it for an hour, we might be able to starve Steven out.
I've got
you're right. We can avoid Season 5 Steven for a little longer.
Careful, you're starting to run the cutaway bit a bit much. Anyway, Stephen, if you'd like to look at this iPad, you can just sit in the corner and we'll see you. We'll see you in 15 minutes, all right, buddy?
Yeah, just tap me on the shoulder.
Yeah. So the Monster Hunter beta set. We're going to have to give him this fucking pacifier again, aren't we?
I'm gonna start coughing on the iPad. Okay, sorry, I'll leave you alone. You guys take it.
I think you just stunned Patrick into silence.
I can't even riff on that.
Rattled. Absolutely rattled.
Oh, man. Okay, so there's a lot that we could talk about with the beta. That
implies there's a lot we're not going to talk about.
Okay, I'm gonna need both of you to shut the fuck up. Did you hit any of the fun graphical glitches that other people reported on when they played the beta?
No, because I played it on PS5 and that seemed to be exclusively a PC thing.
Cool, because I was going to say the same thing. So, can't comment on it, but some of the screenshots, very funny.
I love all the low poly monsters that are in there. It should just be an option people can use. So, from what I can...
As an accessibility option, I can't see this many pixels.
Yeah. From what I understand, it might have been like a glitch with the LODs not loading properly, so they were stuck at their furthest away model. So like when they're all the way off in the background, they've only got like 10 polygons to show you the monster. And for some reason it wasn't updating, so it's just like, yeah, no, we're showing you 10 polygons right to your face.
So I'm going to rattle off my thoughts, and then I guess we can riff back and forth on that, and then perhaps give your thoughts, and then just see how we go, because there's not really a structure, per se, to the beta. So the main points that I want to touch on number one...
There actually is kind of a structure, so kind of, but it's mostly like, hey, do you want to talk about like the story elements first before we talk about like the actual gameplay? Like, do you want to talk about how they're actually trying to do a story properly in this game?
I guess I don't play Monster Hunter for the story.
No one does, but I kind of appreciate the effort.
I think there have been story arcs done successfully in previous Monster Hunter games. I'm thinking specifically for you, I think. Yeah, for
Monster
you
Hunter
had a
story
arcs.
Good.
Yeah, and stories. Yeah, good point, Steve.
Yeah, and from what I understand as an outsider that came in with Monster Hunter World, a lot of the story details for Monster Hunter comes from like art books and people trying to dig up lore, like through there. So it's less about an overarching story and more about like piecing together lore details from like developers talking about their thoughts during concept phases.
And there's also something to be said for almost all of the games have some kind of this impending disaster will come in and take out the town unless you can go and defeat it. So there's, I don't know if we'd count that as a story arc per se, but that's always played into the story of these games, regardless of which generation.
Yeah. And now this time they're actually trying to do a story of like, hey, there's like, well, it's still a monster is rampaging around, but it's like, the hook is like, no, this type of monster is meant to be extinct and not around anymore. And it's going around actually destroying villages, and we've adopted this kid that's going to help, that you got to try and help track down the remaining remnants of his village. And there's like cinematography, it's not so much cinematography, but cinematics tying it all together, and it's presented in a well enough way that it's like, yeah, I don't mind this too much as long as it doesn't get in the way of the actual meat and potatoes of the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Did you want to just continue just hammering out the other story thoughts that you had? Because most of my points are more gameplay focused anyway.
Yeah, no, it was mostly like just that. Like they're doing it. What they show in the demo as well is just kind of like a tutorial level. It's like they're going to try and use these story elements to try and teach you how to play the game, which is really greatly appreciated because even Monster Hunter World, which was like trying to be a bit beginner friendly, it's still kind of obtuse about teaching you how the game works and like what you're supposed to do. So having them trying to hammer in even more of like, yeah, no, the story will be kind of a tutorial and test you as you keep going further is an appreciated aspect.
I think there's two parts to that actually, because I came from a wealth of Monster Hunter knowledge, and therefore World was pretty easy for me to pick up because it was broadly speaking the same mechanical basis. The bit that tripped me, and still trips me a little bit, was the introduction of Clutch Claw on Iceborne, because that opened up a whole, basically, entire new mechanic across the entire game, and that they didn't do a huge job explaining. And the Clutch Claw kind of exists in Wilds now, so I think, yes, they've definitely done a better job explaining it, but the mechanical complexity of Wilds I also think is just much higher than previous Monster Hunter games that they kind of needed to.
Yeah, definitely. It's just one of those things where it's like, they've kind of failed at this before, and I'm glad to see that they're like trying to do an effort to make it better.
Yes, yeah, I agree. Shall we move on to the gameplay stuff?
Go ahead. You're
Cool.
the Monster Hunter gameplay expert. I'll leave it in your hands, and I'll chime in when I'm ready.
Sweet. So the main points I want to hit. One, this is just a personal thing. I don't mind fighting in deserty, sandy areas, but if I were designing what would be the open beta or the demo or the like hook that should get people to go and play this game, I know a lot of the material has been when it's based in the desert, but the desert to me is such a boring environment for how vibrant. Like I'm putting that on the pedestal versus like the forest as the first area that you explored in World, and man, was there so much more depth to the forest as like an ecosystem, which for me was one of the massive draws of World. I loved how much of an ecosystem it felt like it was when you were just existing in this world, whereas Wilds feels very much more like you versus nature. Everything's like it's what I imagine going to Australia is like, where just everything there tries to kill you. It's very kind of barren and flat, and there's lots of sand.
The ancient forest is also very vertical, and that's kind of missing in that desert area that they've shown off.
Yeah, so that's point one. It's not necessarily a knock because we didn't see all the areas, of course, but just as like a first welcome to Monster Hunter, I thought that was a worse welcome to Monster Hunter than the ancient forest.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Cool. Second point for me, in a similar vein, unfortunately, I get what they're trying to do with keeping it an entirely opened up level, and that you don't have to do any kind of loading between the village, and I'm using village in air quotes because it's kind of a settlement. We'd say settlement more than village, I think, where it felt like there was this really good community. It was a very distinct space. It had its own feel. It had its own vibe in previous games, just like pretty much all previous games. Here, it feels like a continuation of the map in a sense, which it is because it's its own, like it's just part of the map. And so again, maybe because it's still the kind of deserty, barreny environment that it's not just that visually distinctive to me, but I thought that also a slight miss. I get that in the beta, a lot of the interactions just don't exist yet in terms of you can't talk to people about crafting or any other kind of shop attendants, or even the cooks, I think, say, hey, come back when the game's fully out and then we'll actually like have a meal and things. So
it makes it hard for me to judge it because like it's there, but it doesn't exist.
Yes. So that also a little bit of a slip for me. And then I realized I'm talking about gameplay and I haven't actually touched on the gameplay itself. It's all just stuff around the gameplay. Secret, really fun. I think I prefer Palamute just because the idea of dog drifting is just so much more enjoyable than secret gliding.
It is. Dog drifting is so much fun, and I do appreciate that Secret you can just go, hey, just take me right to the thing. that
Yes.
I'm hunting. And
Sorry.
it just autopilots.
Interjection by Steve here. Sorry, everybody. Did you just say dog drifting?
Yeah.
Yep. Which part of that confused you?
I don't think dogs drift, do they?
They do in Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh, is that the thing when you're riding on the dog? Okay. Sorry, I thought this is a new thing to. Never mind.
No,
Please,
no. The thing you are thinking about is exactly what we're referring to. The riding a Palamute at breakneck speed in Monster Hunter Rise. Very fun.
I didn't need to play Rise. Anyway,
the secret, perfectly serviceable. No real complaints. As I say, I enjoyed dog drifting, and I'm kind of sad to see that it's gone. The secret, like as you say, just moving towards the monster. Generally speaking, fine. A little, it caught me off guard the first few times when, as soon as you jump onto it, it just takes off in a direction and assumes that you'd already marked where you want to go. So, walked me.
Yeah, there's many times I've killed a monster. My quest end screen is me jumping on the secret, and then it just takes off at breakneck speed into a wall.
Yeah.
Also, there's like a specific tunnel in the map where if it goes into it, its AI just breaks and it keeps going back and forth inside that little tunnel. And that was very annoying.
About. Yeah.
It's near the tutorial area of the game where you fight. I forget the name of it, but it's the Chatacabra, I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah, where you first fight the Chatacabra. It's like in that little area. There's a tunnel there, and Secret just absolutely cannot figure out how to work the tunnels there.
So that's my thoughts on the Secret. Massive upside for the Secret though, having two loadouts, or actually I don't know, is it two full loadouts, or no, it's just two weapons, same loadout, two weapons, is that?
Yeah. You don't change your armor set, so it's not changing your loadout.
Cool. I didn't think we did. Yeah, no, that just threw me for a sec. Wow. Yeah, no, having a second weapon ready to go during the same hunt, really nice touch. Love that. The
as someone that loves playing the hunting horn and the charge blade, it's very nice to just go into a hunt with the hunting horn, apply my buffs, and then call the Secret over to switch to the charge blade and just fight with that while having the hunting horn benefits.
Yeah. And I imagine, like, because similar kind of thing, but really enjoy playing dual blades, but when the monster goes off to sleep, it sucks because you're like, oh man, I didn't bring a bomb, and now I'm going to waste this perfectly good sleep moment by hitting it for like 2 damage instead of 1 damage. So it's nice being able to swap to a big beefy blade or something to when the time is right. So that side of it, very cool. Similarly, the focus and wound system, I like its implementation, and it feels really good. A little bit weapon dependent, but generally feels really good when you get one. I am a little nervous, I would say, in that by it giving you wounds and things to target, that it becomes a kind of an efficiency game of, I guess I have to focus on this now rather than just smacking what you can, which it's not a big deal. It's just, it did make me change how I wanted to attack because I felt like I needed to be more deliberate with, for example, a heavier or slower weapon, that I needed to take more care to target a wound versus just landing the hit. But I'm sure that'll come with practice and timing and a few other things.
I think the wounds stay around long enough that it doesn't matter a lot, and there's some weapons that are like, hey, a wound pops. I want to pop it as soon as possible because it'll give me my buffs to just do better DPS, so you'll close a wound so you're not doing that extra point of damage consistently, but the buff you get out of it will just beat out that extra damage. And then there's also other ones that are just like, hey, the insect glaive, you if you're about to run out of your free charges, if a wound's open, then you do your focus strike on it, you just recharge all your buffs again, so you don't have to worry about that. There's a lot of interesting things going around the wound mechanic that I think make up for like any kind of worries that might come up from it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's also just, there's like a little bit of die-hard vanilla Monster Hunterism of, that wasn't back in the games that I used to play, and so it's just, it's a bit of a teething issue for me getting used to the new mechanic. Weapons, I'm pretty sure I got to try all of them. I definitely am noticing that I prefer some more than others. However, I'm not letting that factor in too much because they are very prescribed loadouts because it's just a beta, and I'm sure I could make some set work that would feel fun. The weapons generally, it's really weird to say that they don't quite feel as crisp.
It's because the beta lacked hit stop. They've significantly reduced the hit stop, and it's the same type of issue they had when World was in beta. So people are hopeful that they extend that out.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was a similar thing that's come up before.
Yeah, someone made a very in-depth guide of it, and it's like some of the weapons that do have hit stop have like half or like a third of the amount of hit stop that they usually have. And for people that don't know, hit stop is when you do like a big hit on an enemy, and then like the game freezes for like, let's say Monster Hunter is running at 60 FPS, freezes for like 15 frames, and that freeze gives you like a big impacts moment. And right now, Wild is lacking that impacts.
Yeah, okay, that's making a lot of sense because I've felt it acutely with the Greatsword, which exactly would be that problem.
Yep, it's a Greatsword and Hammer are the only ones that have it at the moment, from what I know, and they're like significantly reduced.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, I'm now also in the camp of I hope that's changed on full release.
Yeah, a lot of people have made a lot of noise about it, so hopefully it gets fixed up. Also worth noting right now, while that's on topic, Capcom has come out and said this is like a very early build, even by comparison of when it's being released. Like this is a month's old build in comparison, like from now. So there's a lot of things that have been fixed. There's been like performance updates to it as well. So it should be better by launch if they're keeping their word. But we gotta wait to launch to see. But if they're being true to their word, then it is good to know that it's like, yeah, no, this isn't even representative of how the game is running right now.
While I have the utmost faith in Capcom because they've just been doing banger after banger recently, I will say it's funny that that's the same line dropped by DICE on the back of a terrible Battlefield 2042 beta, and everyone went, this isn't playing very well, and DICE went, no, it's like a month's old build. No. The game that's being fully released in like a month or two is far improved from that, and it was basically the same build.
Yeah, at least with the Monster Hunter, it's like, hey, it's still 4 months out.
Yeah, no, and as I say, Capcom's got a pretty good track record, or at least they built up a lot of leeway with me, at least in terms of I'm willing to believe them when they say that it will actually be meaningfully different. I think those are the main points. Yeah, overall, like I haven't really talked about the combat, but it's a Monster Hunter game. The combat generally plays out pretty similar to previous games, and I definitely
there's some
had
interesting changes I want to bring up. Like the Insect Glaive is a very different weapon now. It used to be a very aerial focused, you do a lot of mounting damage and staying in the air type weapon. Now it's very grounded and taking advantage of your Kinsect buffs instead to do like massive attacks. And it's an interesting change. I kind of like how it is, but I also miss the old Insect Glaive.
Yeah, Insect Glaive, I agree. I didn't because I was an Insect Glaive main in World and also in 4 Ultimate, so I have a pretty good feeling of how the glaive should play, and I know that it plays quite differently in this game. I probably didn't give it as much time as I should have to continue using it over and over again. I just tried it for a hunt and went, I can see that it is different. I don't know if I like how different it is, but I also filed it under the if I were making an Insect Glaive loadout, it wouldn't be one of the loadouts that we could pick from in terms of the armor sets available. So I was willing to hold off a judgment, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of like, hey, this is a weapon where you hold down the circle button to charge a big attack, and while you're holding that, you just keep you use the top part of your thumb to keep mashing the triangle button to get your attacks out, and you can let go of that circle charge whenever you want to just kind of like pop that big move. And then like
interesting.
It's got like this when you have all 3 charges, it's got like this big special maneuver that's a big spiral rising attack that also like takes Kinsect's charges out of the monster as you're hitting it. So it's an interesting idea. I I'm kind of curious if it would have been better if this was a new weapon rather than reworking Insect's Glaive.
Were there any other points that you wanted to touch on?
Swax looks great as usual. Like, they've added some new explosion moves to Swax, and I'm in love with that. Charge Blade took me a moment to get reaccustomed with. That's one of those weapons where the focus mode is something that helps buff your weapon. Like, you can only use a chainsaw mode of that move by hitting a focus strike on a wound, and then that'll pop it for like a minute-long buff. And that's an interesting way to handle that, because I stopped using the Charge Blade before Iceborne came out, because I was like, Iceborne's kind of a new game. I'm going to learn a new weapon, and that's when I started learning Hammer and Hunting Horn. And I never really picked Charge Blade back up again, so I never really learned how Worlds handled the chainsaw mode. So I don't know if this is a good change or not, but I like how this works here. That's a whole lot of words to say. Charge Blade good, it's still my baby.
Sweet. Yeah. Anything else?
Last one I want to say is that while it was lacking the verticality of the ancient forest, I kind of liked how bumpy, I want to say, the terrain is, especially on the actual like desert oasis side of the map. Because fighting the Ray Dow over there, the Ray Dow is the big apex monster of the demo, and it's basically a lightning railgun dragon. And when it's going for its big railgun attack, where it sits there and charges for like 3 seconds before letting out a giant attack that'll most likely one-hit KO you, that Oasis area, the bumpiness of that map is really good, of like just going, okay, I'm going to hide behind a dune and it can't hit me like this, or the elevation of it just messed up the radii enough that it's like the beam is going right over your head. I think that makes for really interesting gameplay moments in the game, and I really like that sort of like emergent design in the map and the fight and how it plays out. It does cause some issues, like there's a lot of moments of like the monster clipping through the top of the dunes.
I was going to say,
and it looks
I've
really
played
wonky.
enough old Monster Hunter that has definitely caused problems in the past.
Yeah, so it's not perfect, but it is kind of neat how like the unevenness of the terrain is kind of like explored a little more in this game in an interesting way.
I forgot to mention perhaps the biggest thing that has changed to this game. When you kill a monster, you can now actually stand on its corpse properly.
Greatest change.
Just absolute game changer. And now I've said everything.
There's one more I want to talk about. It's the lobby system. This is the actual thing, like I actually put in my survey to Capcom. It's like, hey, please fix this, because this is like really annoying. So the game has lobbies where you can have 100 people in them, and your friends can join into those, but you all have your own like environment data, like where you specifically have put all your limited camps throughout the map, and your friends will have their own ones. So when you go out of the town area and into like the actual wild area, you can see each other, but you're not actually like map synced up. So I was playing with our friend Jake once, and it's like, hey, on my side, a raid Dow is going to spawn in like 20 minutes. But then on his side, it's like, oh no, the raid Dow is spawning like right now. And we were in a linked party, so having like that desynced map was kind of like a really weird thing to get our heads around. And I understand where Capcom is coming from, and like, yeah, no, even though you're in a linked party, everyone has their own maps, so like you can invite each other to specific hunts when they pop up on your environment. It's just like, hey, everyone come to my map so we can all hunt this thing. But I think the way that like Wilds it's like the appeal of Wilds is like actually just like being out in the environment with your friends and actually like being together in the wildlands. So I think the way they should handle it is that when you make a party with your friends, everyone should be on the same environment map, rather than having to go through 2 invite systems where it's like, hey, let's link up, and then, hey, come join my environment. It should be like the link up moment should also bring them into the environment. It's like it's like 2 steps too much to try and get this party system working.
Yeah.
And yeah, my feedback was basically like, hey, when I party up with people, I want to be in the same environment as them. So maybe like consider making private or friends lobbies specifically where it's like, hey, people are joining in on me. They're going to actually specifically join in on my environment, so we don't have to worry about those extra steps.
Yep, that's fair. Cool. Any other points you want to hit on? I think that's a rough smattering of everything in Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited for this game. It's like, it plays well. It performs okay enough. Like the console version of the game is like, this isn't perfect, but it's playable. It's better. I think it plays better than Worlds did on PS4. And if I could live with that, I can live with the PS5 version of Wilds. But no, very fun game. I highly recommend people check it out when it comes out. Like, it wasn't going to be a question. It was going to be a day one, no matter what, because everyone I know is going to be getting this day one. But this is one of those things where I'll be advocating for people to get it day one as much as possible, because it's just that good.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that encourages other people to also join us in the day one brigade. Next up, Digimon. Steve.
Digimon,
Steve,
digital monsters.
Put the iPad down, buddy. Come back and
I
join the
got
class.
spit and snot all over it.
Seth, sorry to tell you that was mine. That was on there before I gave it to him.
I'm gonna blame Steven anyway.
Understandable.
So yeah, Digimon, digital monsters. So for I was okay. What am I trying to say here? Let me bring up my notes. So Digimon Survive is a visual novel. There is with some strategy elements that are just tile based. We have Fire Emblem at home, but we've only got $5 for Fire Emblem. That's what it feels like.
Also, it's Final Fantasy Tactics.
No, you're giving it too much credit. The depth. Anyway, I'll get to it. Because I don't know what it is, and they're playing bad games this year. But it is what it is sometimes, baby.
Oh, bad game, huh?
Yeah. Okay,
no,
so
hold on.
game
he
was
might
like,
talk about how much he hates it and then say it's an 8 out of 10.
this is not getting an 8. Spoiler alert. There's no fucking way this could get an 8. That is anyway. So this game was announced in like 2018 or 2019, and I remember when it was announced, there was like a trailer, and it was like all your choices will matter. It's a dark story-based strategy game, and like depending on like the choices you make, like your friends and your Digimon may even die. And I remember seeing that, and I'm like, holy fucking shit. Digimon creators aren't cowards. They're going to cater to the adult market, which is cool. Fantastic. And then this kind of fell into development hell, unfortunately. And so the original developer that was supposed to be making it was making a custom engine for it called the Witchcraft engine. And this is kind of, I was so entranced by after this game when I finished it. I did like a bit of a deep dive and looked at like some interviews and stuff and some first impressions to kind of really understand how they fucking fumble with this game so much. So they were originally supposed to use like their own custom proprietary engine that was specifically made for this game, and then something happened in 2021 or 2020. Maybe a couple people coughed. Don't know if that's related to it. Never confirmed. But this game was kind of shifted to a different developer, and apparently development was just essentially restarted. They didn't have access to this custom engine, so I was like, fuck it, we'll do it in Unity. And you can definitely see that they had grand ideas for this game, but every single bit of delivery is just awful. So the general premise of this game is that you're in the real world, you're going to like on a school field trip, and then along the way you and a bunch of your friends get kind of transported into this other world, and there's these monsters, and there's only one instance that I've seen of the word Digimon, because they're always called Kemonogari, because there's a big element of like Japanese folklore and Japanese spirits and like shrine maidens and all that kind of stuff. And it kind of it is it's a visual novel. There's no other way around it. There is a lot of yapping in this. it is cool. There are like, unfortunately, there's no voice dubbing. Sorry, no English voice acting. But like the Japanese voice acting is pretty cool. And in certain sections, it's like, whoa, this is actually really good. But then in other sections, it's like, okay, you can just tell you're reading off a script here, and it definitely feels at the start that they're setting up the world and like the characters and stuff, but they just keep going. It's like they've got all these relationships established, they've connected everybody, and it's like, cool, I understand who everybody is, I understand their motivations, and it's like they just keep talking about it. And it's like, okay, I get it. These guys are friends, these guys are antagonists, you don't like these guys, I get it. And they keep going. And they keep going. And it's like, okay, you've told me this before, I don't need a side character telling me these guys are fuckwit, and then 5 minutes later, my internal dialogue telling me this guy's a fuckwit. Like, I can tell. I don't need to be spoon-fed. I can just tell this guy's being a fuckwit. And then you go into the digital world, and like this, there are just like these actions that take place, and it's like, you gonna do anything about this? Like, there's this one guy, and he's obviously having like a nervous breakdown. Like, he's obviously like not doing well. Like, he's freaking out whenever his part of the Digimon comes to him, or whenever that like someone talks to him. Like, he's freaking out to the point where like he ends up having like a psychotic break, and he gets influenced by another Digimon, and he kind of goes into this fog. And if you go into the fog, you get killed. And literally, like, for like 5 hours leading up to that, everyone's like, man, I'm really worried about this guy, and nobody does anything. Like, you as a player character, like, you interact with him, but then like not in a way that means anything. No one really helps him, and you can kind of see like, oh shit, like, is this guy gonna like turn around and be good, or like what's gonna happen here? And he ends up dying, and that is like a very big moment. It's well done, it's well written, everyone's like in shock and stuff. But then kind of when the shock wears off, it's like, we knew this was coming 5 hours ago, like nobody did anything. And it's kind of like, I understand they're kids and stuff, but it kind of feels like they were trying to get you to do something, but then it never pushed you into that. It never gave you the option to kind of just reach out that hand and help the guy. And it kind of makes you feel
Sorry to cut you off for a second, but is this still, have you only done one run of the game?
Yes. See, and you fucking cut me off, you bastard. I was going to get there.
I'm sorry.
You bastard. I was going to...
I do this every time.
He was number one.
Yeah. But yeah, so it sort of takes away this agency from saving this guy. Then there's this other character that kind of goes through the similar type of thing, wanting to be reliable, and he's not reliable. And you can kind of see, he's like, oh, this guy's acting the exact same way as this other guy. Are we going to learn from our mistakes? No, we don't. That guy ends up getting killed. And it's like, oh, okay, this is pretty fucked. But like, both of those deaths are very good. Sorry, they're not good. But the way that they're done, the music in the background, the voice acting, the weight of it is done very well. And then like even the impact afterwards, and all the characters going, oh, hey, that was pretty fucked up, eh? And then you kind of like the game, you keep progressing, and the game gives you a couple of choices, and then you end up finishing the game. And then it's like there is this screen that comes. Like, yeah, you get the whatever ending you get, because there's 3 endings you can get, and the game is pretty much, hey, this is the choice you've got to make. Whatever choice you make here will lock you into an ending. That's pretty much what it says. And it's like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing here. And then it takes you after the credits. It's like, huh, wouldn't it be cool if that first guy survived? That might change everything. And then it kind of is re-encouraging you to do another run. And at no point did it actually feel like I could have done anything. And it's like, oh, okay. So then it kind of is baiting you to do an extra run. But there is so much, and that's just kind of the general story premise. But the story goes for about like 30 hours. It goes for so much longer than what it needs to be. And I got to that ending. And like the ending I got, it turns out, was like the semi-good ending without needing the golden playthrough in quotation marks. And I was cool. I was satisfied with that. It's like, yep, we lost 2 of our friends along the way. We got a good ending. The world's kind of, the digital world kind of collided, and they kind of forced it. It's like, oh, now that people know about this, the digital world, oh, we should call these people Digimon. And it's like, you're fucking forcing it, man. You've been calling them Kemonogari for like 30 hours. Don't try to shoehorn it in. It was very weird. But like the point, I'm very conscious, and I don't want anybody to call me out of it. I am yapping, and I'm not getting to the point right now, and I'm doing that intentionally because this is what this game fucking does the whole 30 hours. It doesn't get to the point. Or it'll tell you the same point 4 or 5 times by 4 or 5 different characters.
You need to listen to Steven's second loop of talking about this to fully understand the experience.
yeah. But I'm at the end of the episode, I'm going to tell you, you should go back and tell Steven to shut the fuck up. The real experience. Maybe everything will work out. And then it kind of gets, and it was just half the amount of time. Like the game is roughly split into 2 stages. The first stage is like kind of the scene setting, and then there's a big event that happens, and then the game presents you 3 choices essentially, and depending on which choice is the ending that you're locked into for the next 15 fucking hours. And it's cool. The way that it does it and it presents it is good. It's just the length of this game is too much. Too much. And then to be like, oh, if you want the real ending, you have to go back and play it. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I straight up don't want to do it. But at the same time, I was very curious because the game kind of, when there's a good story moment, there's a good story moment. And I feel like the last 4 hours of the game are the best. And it is so hard for me to say, oh yeah, the ending was really good. You just got to slog through over 20 hours of bullshit to get to the last 4 hours. And like, I'll get to the strategy part of the game soon, but it just feels very much like it's kind of the game saying fuck you, like kind of, oh yeah, man, this part of the game is shit. Like 75% or 85% of the game is shit for these last 4 hours of gold, and oh no, now you have to go back and do it again. And maybe the second playthrough would have been better, but I don't think it is. I think it would just be a repeat of just like, all right, everybody, shut the fuck up. What are we doing? You don't need to say this again. I've heard it before. Let's just break this down a bit more than what we can. And it's just disappointing. But at the same time, we always finish what we start here at Fast Travel Lounge. So I literally got like 5 hours into this game and I'm like, I can't do this. And then that first character dies and I'm like, oh, fuck, finally, we're getting into it. And then it's 10 hours of bullshit. And then someone else dies. I'm like, fuck yeah, we're so back. And then it's 5 hours of bullshit. Then a couple more hours of bullshit. And it's just, there are very good moments of this game, but it's just padded with bloat. And my tinfoil hat theory is that, so with the strategy part of these games, it's you essentially get to pick 6 Digimon, you bring them to the field, and you're against how many other Digimon are you against, and it's pretty much like rock, paper, scissors. Like vaccine does more damage to virus types do more damage to standard types, and standard types do more damage to vaccine types. I don't know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Does anything really matter? But then it's just very simple as well. Like if you're attacking a Digimon head on, and you're facing them, you're doing less damage than if you're doing a side attack and a back attack. And that's
that's a very Final Fantasy Tactics core.
Is it? Okay, cool. But like that's the depth it goes to. Like you don't really have to worry about if you're doing like for lack of a better word, a super effective attack, because the damage goes from like 50% to 60%. So like it's still going to be hit 2 hit. Like it doesn't matter. And there is this kind of whole section with like, you've got your partner Digimon you'd bring into battle with you, and you can evolve them whenever you want. Digivolve them for like, to use the colloquial expression, to like their champion or ultimate or mega forms or something. But then you've got these free Digimon, which you kind of, it feels, if the strategy part feels tacked on, this feels like super tacked on, because essentially what it is there are free battle moments you can choose to do when you're doing, or when you've got like free downtime during the story, which is essentially like picking your next menu to go to, essentially. And you can fight up against a Digimon, and you're pretty much asking, then like you'll do this weird cutscene that feels very Persona X, well, sorry, but very Persona core, where it's like, oh, hey, like you've got 2 chances, convince me to join you. And then like you'll have like a 60% chance of them joining you no matter what answer you get. And it's kind of, and then you can recruit them, they join you, and then it turns out their stats are shit, and there's no real using them because they're not as good as your partner Digimon, and you can't digivolve them, you need special items to digivolve them, and there's like over 180 of these fuckers. So it definitely feels like they had something there with the strategy element. But they've just padded it with, just like the story, they've padded it with bloat just for the sake of it. There is no reason in this game to not use a partner Digimon because they are stronger. And because like you're forced to, because of course your partner is Agumon, you're forced to bring Agumon and probably your like 4 of the other humans' kids with you. So every now and then you might pick 1 or 2 free Digimon to bring with you, but like they're dead in one hit because you're forced to bring the partner Digimon, and because the partner Digimon are with you, they're always going to be like a little bit more over-leveled with them. And it just kind of, there's something there, but like it just, there's no chance for it to flourish unless you're forcing yourself to be like, all right, well, I want to collect all the free Digimon. So to do this, I'm going to have to play a lot more free battles, which is just kind of the snake eating its own tail type of thing. And the strategy elements aren't really that fun. Like even probably towards the last 10 hours of the game, I had it on auto battle because there's an auto battle thing. And essentially, like at first I'm like, oh, this auto battle is pretty smart. And then I'm like, wait a minute. It's just not a complicated game. It's the monster goes up to the other monster, either tries to track it from the side or from the back and attacks, and that's kind of it. There's a bunch of held items and stuff you can really use. I didn't really feel like I needed to use that. Maybe in a second playthrough you do. I honestly don't see how it would. And judging from what I've seen online, I don't think it, unless you're looking for a mega challenge to do your own challenge run of, oh, I'm only going to bring Agumon or something. I honestly don't see why you'd use any of this stuff. And it just feels like the shell of something is there, but the implementation, much like the story, dog shit. Oh, man, it's just a shame. Like, I could appreciate it. If it was a bad game from start to finish, it's a bad game, whatever. But there are just these pieces of where it shines, like the story beats of when it's good, when it's really good. But to get to a good, like, half an hour, I have to wade through 4 hours of dog shit. And then there's another good moment, so it brings me back in. And then every now and then you'll get, like, to a good strategy fight. And it's only really good because you're outnumbered 3-1, so it's kind of, I really have to think with this one. But those are very, very few and far between. It's just very frustrating. And maybe this is me because I was very excited when this game was announced and the possibilities in my head kind of overshadowed this game. But I got to admit, this game is very, very disappointing. Like I paid like what, $15-20 for this game. I think it's too much. I think it's a $10. Like it might even be like I wouldn't even call it like there are parts of this game where it would, like, to coin the term that we made up like 2 months ago. Very good portions of this game are a second screen game, like, which is a very, very sad thing to say, especially when it's a visual novel. Like, it's just.
I think what ends up making this extra disappointing is that the game bombed pretty hard. So the moments where you're like frustrated because it's shining through and it's like there's good elements to this, it's probably not going to get a second chance to take advantage of those good elements because it didn't sell well, so there'll probably never be a sequel to just like try and take advantage of that again.
Yeah, like it's like if we were just looking at this from a recommend to not recommend, like unless you're a Digimon diehard, I'm not recommending this game to you. Like I would, like even if you're I call myself a Digimon like casual fan, like if I had my time again, I wouldn't go back and buy this. Like it's you just cut out half the game and maybe like, and look, I think towards the end of the game, what I had it doing is I had it on like, Saif, you might be able to help me here with the technical visual novel terminology, but like I'll have it on like autoplay. So like it kind of like auto plays the cutscenes, like the characters will voice the cutscene and when they're finished, the character will voice their text box. And then when the text box is finished, like they'll just go straight to the next one. Like I don't have to hit a button. But then it's kind of towards the end of it, I was just like, yep, cool. I've read the text box, hit A to go to the next one. And that probably saved me a bit of time. It's just, I didn't like it. Did not like it. 9 out of 10. No, I'm joking. No, this is.
I knew it.
No, this is like a 4 out of 10. Like it's. I honestly, like, because I had squeezed at the Wikipedia page as well. Like, Nintendo Life gave it an 8 out of 10. IGN gave it a 6. Oh, that's a bit too high. GameSpot gave it a 6. Like, Famitsu gave it a 32 out of 40. Like, who'd they fucking get to review? Like,
Famitsu is notorious for paid reviews, though.
It is. It's every Pokemon game gets like 1 million. But like, even
I'm
like
pretty sure every Square Enix main RPG gets like 39 or 40 on that magazine.
You saying they're not worth it?
No, they're correct, but it's also very clear they got paid to do that.
Yeah, like it's to give this game a 32 is fucking disingenuous. Like, and even looking at the Metacritic scores, for some reason the PC version has like 83 out of 100. Like, it's fucking insane. Like, maybe if but then like because it came out for the Switch as well. It's on all like Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Like, I could maybe understand it if you were like having it in Switch, while you're like playing it on the Switch, playing in quotation marks in Switch, like laying down, like just kind of half an hour, 45 minutes before bed. But that would take you so long to do, and there'd probably be sections where it's like, I've done 45 minutes and nothing's happened. They're still fucking around, which is no good. But yeah, anyway, to loop it back to the second run that you were talking about, Seth, it turns out to get the only way to get like the golden route is to get your affinity up with that character that goes crazy, and you'd only know that getting your affinity up would save him is by some kid on the playground or by Googling it or something. It's just no good. 4 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Everybody go out and buy this game right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't see who this game's for. The strategy elements are non-existent. The story elements have some hits, but I wouldn't recommend it. Maybe in 10 years' time they'll release a remake and it'll be 10 hours instead of 30, and it'll be good. I'd honestly, like, if they took out half of the bullshit, it'd be much better. Like, it'd be a shorter game, but quality over quantity. And it would encourage a second playthrough as well. Because the game is so long, I think that disincentivizes you from doing a second play. Which is unfortunate, because
it's one of those things where
ending, yeah.
I think a second playthrough goes by a lot faster because they expect you to just skip the dialogue that you've already seen.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because I remember I remember them going, hey, it's an 80-hour game, but it's like the first playthrough is probably going to be like 30 to 40 hours, and then every subsequent playthrough is like 10 hours if you want to see all the endings.
Yeah, I guess so. But then, like, I think there is like an option to be like, you can skip things that you've already seen. But like, I'd like to say, I think the frame that you'd be coming at it would be different if you've got more characters alive or something. Like, I think the context, you know what? I don't know. But like, long story short, I'm not going back and playing that fucking game. I did go and look up the endings, and they probably seem all right, but I'm off it. 4 out of 10. Yeah, sorry, that got a lot more ranty than what I thought it was going to be. Actually, no, it wasn't. It wasn't ranty enough.
No, it was. I think it was about as ranty as you thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Don't buy it. The soundtrack is like dog shit as well. Like, there is, anyway, it doesn't. Like, it's
inexcusable. I can excuse a bad game if it has a good soundtrack. It's like 50% of Sonic games.
Yeah, and there's obviously like, there'll be scenes where like it'll be like a 20-minute cutscene type of thing, and like there is a very obvious 2-minute track that just loops, and there's a very cut in, and it feels very harsh, and it kind of like, oh shit, whiplash. Ugh. Okay. I'm out of breath now.
Need to go for a dad walk after that one.
Definitely sounds like
it's raining outside.
Good old Melbourne weather.
It's supposed to be 32 tomorrow. 32, but rainy. So I love humidity. Well, I fucking left Sydney. Okay. Can we talk about something happy now?
Pokemon.
Oh yeah, Pokemon TCG.
So
hold on, let me check. Can I pull packs right now live on pod? It hasn't given me a notification, so I don't think so.
Rough. Oh, okay. Sorry, no, I thought you were actually pulling it open to check. Okay, no. Pokemon TCG Pocket. This game, hold
on. I can open a booster pack.
Fuck me.
Which one do I go for, boys? Charizard, Pikachu, or Mewtwo?
Which one are you building decks for?
I'm kind of fine with everything. I just need an Arcanine for my fire deck and a Zapdos EX.
Go. Pikachu then. Screw it.
Pikachu?
Mewtwo.
Too late. I already picked the Pikachu pack.
Can't believe you disgraced
I'll give it an all spinaroo.
I can't believe he's about to open a God pack live on pod because I recommended that he open Pikachu.
I'm opening. I got a Sandslash, a Helix
Excellent
Fossil,
start.
a new Nidoran that I didn't own before, a Psyduck, and a Golduck. Kind of shit pack.
Dog shit pack, man. That was great for our audio listeners.
Yeah, but video listeners will get a screenshot of it.
It's not even the video.
An otherwise unmoving background followed by a screenshot of phone. No, it won't even be a screenshot. It'll be you taking a photo of your screen with another camera.
All right, give it 18 more minutes and I can open another pack.
Ooh, this guy. Yeah, so Pokemon TCG Pocket, it actually had a soft launch in New Zealand like a month ago, and I knew that it was coming out, but went, nah, I probably don't want to play this game. And it was only because everyone else was like, hey, are you also playing this game, that I eventually downloaded it. And so now I'm like a month late to the party, but man, move over Monster Hunter now.
We finally got him. We found the game that'll kill it.
Yeah, I think I might have an addiction problem, given that I haven't changed how much I use my phone. I've just changed what I play on my phone. This is a trading card game on a mobile game, but I think it would be fair to say it doesn't have as many of the shitty monetary practices that we normally associate with mobile games yet, because I assume, like Pokemon Unite, it'll start. Actually, Pokemon Unite had worse pay-to-win mechanics when it first launched, so maybe we are safe for a bit longer. It's
got the same pay-to-win mechanics as any other TCG would have, which is pay more money to get more booster packs.
Yeah. But there's two main sides of it. There is the card collecting side, of which there is the Genetic Apex card collection. I don't really know what you'd call that grouping.
Booster sets.
Booster set, cool. And then of that, there is the Mewtwo, Pikachu, and Charizard pack types, I guess. I'm so out of the loop on like TCG lingo. There's probably people just screaming at the speaker at the moment with how terrible I'm describing this.
Generally, I don't think TCGs really break up their sets like this. This is a TCG Pocket specific thing where it's like a third of each set is like the rare cards are put into different packets.
And so you can collect them, and you can also battle them, and the battling is a different format to typical Pokemon TCG format, which I remember playing over summer a few years ago. Me and my brother chipped in a few bucks, and we got a booster pack each, and had some fun with that. But this one, you have a deck of 20 cards. You can have no more than 2 duplicates in the deck, and energy is on a curve of 1 per turn. I'd say the kind of... Actually, no, it's not Hearthstone, because you get more energy per turn in Hearthstone, but you no longer have to worry about energy in your deck itself, which I always associate with playing Pokemon TCG, quote-unquote, properly. So it is nice that this is a much more casual format, much easier to get into. I've had so much fun with this game, as you can tell by how it's beaten out Monster Hunter now for my attention on my mobile device. I, even this morning, said, I'll just play one game. And that turned into 30 minutes of, well, I can't keep losing. To the listeners out there, I did. I got put out of my misery when someone immediately joined and then conceded, and I think it was because they accidentally queued up for another game.
Maybe they just had a bad hand. Sometimes people will just concede if they have a bad draw.
Yeah, that's true. I can't help it. I think my headcanon makes it way funnier if it's someone in the same position as me also wanting to just play one game and then after 30 minutes going, you know what, screw it, and then just putting it down, but them putting it down is what enabled me to put it down. Yeah, it's really fun. I've been collecting predominantly the Mewtwo side. There are so many cards that I want to get and build decks out of. I've just been absolutely consuming content on this.
Money check, how much has everyone spent on it?
0. I'm not spending money on this. Fuck you.
I spent a little bit.
Did you? I knew you had better cards for some reason. Fuck you. I knew you weren't lucky. Piece of shit. This game's for free. Loser.
I think I'm about to get my first charge on it, which is the $15 for the battle, like the boosted battle pass thing.
You scum of the earth, both of you.
I want an extra pack a day.
Yeah.
I need to do the free trial though.
Yeah. It's very difficult. It's the sort of thing that I can imagine if everyone else stopped tomorrow, it would take me another week or 2 to keep playing it, and then I'd probably also start slowing down the amount that I play it, because it's half of the draw is playing against other people, whereas Monster Hunter now, I'm so far into the end game I can solo most things myself, so it's far more enabling when you're that far in, whereas this, I like the ability to discuss like how games have gone or like funny things that have happened or even just comparing cool cards, that if I didn't have people to do that with, I think it would I think I would reduce the amount of time that I spend in this. Deck check. What's everyone's favorite deck?
I have been
Pikachu
running a
EX.
Venusaur deck.
No,
All right,
Electric Pikachu.
I heard Seth first, so talk me through the Venusaur deck.
You make a Venusaur and it never dies.
Okay, cool. I'm liking what I'm hearing.
So the way I run it is I have I run one Lilligant line, one Butterfree line, one Executor EX line, and the the Venusaur EX line. So I want Executor out early just to be like an early game rush through them, because it's one energy, it evolves on the second turn right away. And it's a bit of a gamble because you have to do a coin flip to make it do 80 damage, but it's always guaranteed 40. Lilligant is there because if I don't have Executor out, I want a Lilligant, because then it'll just sit out front, and it's decently beefy, and every time it attacks, it gives the grass energy to something in the back row, or can give it to itself, I think. The Butterfree is there just to be on the bench and heal the other Pokemon, because every turn it can heal 20 HP to everything on my field. And the Venusaur is just the tanky boss of the deck. Like, if I get it to 4 energy, it's pumping out 100 damage every turn, healing 30. So with the Butterfree on top of that, as like 50 HP, it's getting every turn back.
Plus, I assume you have an Erica in the deck as well for an extra 50
I do have
heal?
one Erica for that extra 50 and 2 potions. So yeah, if I've got like a decent hand and I've got a good setup, that Venusaur is never dying.
Do you find it's consistent enough when you have, like, because you're basically drawing for Venusaur EX or Venusaur Break?
Venusaur EX.
Yeah.
It's not a very consistent deck. There's been a lot of times where I'm just stuffed because I can't draw an Ivysaur, or I can't draw something else. I don't have a lot of good deck search. The most desperate I get is when it's like, okay, the only thing I can do is have a Caterpie out. It uses one energy move that is like, hey, I will draw out a grass type Pokemon from the deck at random. But it's also very frail, and it'll probably die. If they evolve the next turn after that Caterpie moves, it's probably dead.
And then support, I assume you got the the Pot of Greeds, the Pokeballs.
Yeah, Pot of Greeds, Pokeballs, Erica.
Pot of Greed.
I think I run one Sabrina, maybe 2. The EX speeds just to get Pokemon out if I'm desperate.
Yeah. Cool. And you find that overall it's working out pretty well for you?
Yeah, I win like maybe 40 to 60% of my matches, so
you can say 50%.
It's okay.
40 to 60, you can just say 50%.
No, because some days I'm like, I'm on a pretty big losing streak, and some days I'm like, I've won a decent chunk, so I don't want to commit to 50-50, but it's like somewhere between either just above that or just below that.
What's your favorite and least favorite decks to come up against with that?
Charizard is least, because weak to fire, so they can just blow through me pretty easily, and Arcanine EX is a monster. And Mewtwo EX, I want to say, because if I don't have an Executor out, I'm playing the long game, and the long game, it rewards them more than it rewards me.
Would it though? Because
Mewtwo EX with Krillia, Gardevoir in the back.
Gardevoir.
Sorry? Krillia, holy shit, man. Fumble. Because
Mewtwo EX will pump out 150 damage every turn. So it will out damage my healing abilities.
Yeah, no, that's what I was wondering what the trade-off would be, but yeah, no, you're right. It wouldn't last more than a turn or two. Interesting. Okay, cool. And Steve, you're running Pikachu EX?
I am running an Electric Pikachu EX, got Zapdos EX in there as well. Like, it's just very brain dead. I don't play. I get the feeling that you guys play this game a lot more than what I do. Like, I'll play a couple of games a day. I'll open my packs. I think for me, the collecting aspect is a lot cooler. Like, it is fucking a gacha.
There's a lot of pretty full arts, and the video arts as well are really cool.
Yeah, it's just a very small. Like, if you really like, this game will take much time as like you want out of it. Like, it's realistically, I probably spend 20 minutes on it a day. You get the 2 pack openings once every 12 hours. and it kind of banks up a pack as well, so you don't feel like you have to, oh shit, it's got to do my pack now, I'm wasting time. So that's pretty good. And like the full art cards are like, when you pull one, like the music changes, it zooms out from the card to like kind of show you, zooms into the card to show you different aspects of the card that aren't actually featured in the card. So that looks really good. Like just the amount of like work and attention to detail like is fantastic. Like when you're opening the pack, you swipe across the screen and then it kind of like tracks where your finger went. So you get like packs that aren't cleanly open. Which is it's very, very cool. The music is fucking fantastic as well.
I also love when you go in there and it's like, for some reason, one of these packs is turned backwards, or if you look at their sides, some of them are like crinkled at the top. And there's there's a lot of fan theories going around and speculation of like, oh, if I open a crinkled pack, that's more luck. My motto is, if it's turned backwards, that's the lucky pack.
Has it worked out for you?
Yeah,
not entirely.
Yeah, from my understanding, and like the second you pick which set you're pulling from, all those packs contain the same thing. So it's like, too bad, so sad. You get, but it's that kind of stuff that like makes this game like fun. It's like it gives you, when you pick the pack, you've got a circle of about like 20 or so, and even though I'm 99% sure it doesn't matter, I spin that fucker around like 3 or 4 times. Well. And like I'm picking this pack. Like it's fun to do.
Superstition for me has gotten so bad that I've been opening packs with a friend of mine, just like both of us, like basically alternating on my phone, because I just let the packs bank up and the hourglasses bank up, and every time we've opened packs together, we've gotten good cards. Every time it's just me on the 12-hour cycle, I get a fucking shit ass like booster pack of nothing. So it's really feeding into the superstition of like, well, there's no point wasting hourglasses because I'm never going to get anything good.
For me, my superstition right now is that I have one bad day and then the next day is a good day.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I just get dog shit cards.
But I think I have to pull the packs on the bad days to be rewarded for the good days.
Well, that's why it's fun. Like, there's over, 300 cards in this. And, a couple of them are duplicates. Like, you'll get, Zapdos and Zapdos EX or Pikachu EX and all that kind of stuff. But they are different cards as well.
And then there's, duplicates of, it's a Mewtwo EX, and then there's, 2 other Mewtwo EXs that are full arts.
Yeah, different.
Yeah, sorry. There's different types. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
the Pikachu EXs. There's a full art one, and then there's the one with the Pikachu type popping out of the card.
How many different versions of Charizard do you want? Yes.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned before, there's video art cards where once you collect them, you can hold down on the card in your collection, and it plays a video piece of a massive diorama shots or scenic shot of the Pokemon. And the Mewtwo one is insane because it's Mewtwo escaping out of its pod, and then tracks into the laboratory through the shattered window that it's jumping out of to show the tank that it was being created inside.
But not that I've pulled a Mewtwo EX. But yeah, it's it got a lot of care and attention to detail. And long story short, the battling is very simple. It's only a couple of minutes. It's very different to other TCG works. But it's pretty cool. It's even as someone who plays the Pokemon video game competitively, not very good, but competitively. I was thinking about retiring and picking up the TCG, and then this game came out, and I'm like, oh, this is fucking it. It's cool. It's nice. Even if you're not a usual trading card game fan, I encourage everybody just to pick it up and try it. It's pretty fucking cool.
The fact they give you a pack a day really makes it just stick.
Yeah, 2 packs a day.
Two packs.
Everyone every 2 hours.
Free if you use that free trial.
So someone listening to just the snippet out of context to be like, yeah, smoking.
Yeah. It's pretty good, but
it's done its job enough that it's making me very interested in actually checking out the CCG proper.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say, has it made you want to purchase? I don't know where my Pokemon cards went after that summer of booster pack shenanigans. I imagine there's a rubber band wrapped around them somewhere at my parents' house. But has it made you want to reconsider jumping back in? Because I assume everyone had some Pokemon cards.
I never did. I never learned how to play the game. I never had any Pokemon cards.
I'll be honest, and this is a very common Stephen L. When you all in the group chat were talking about this, I got confused, so I downloaded Pokemon TCG Live, which is the actual mobile version of the card game simulator. So I was playing that for like 2 days, and I'm like, I'm not opening any packs. This is giving me a couple of decks. Like, this is why are you guys having so much more fun than I am? But like that.
It's those 2 days you lost. That's why you don't have any good decks.
That's why I got shit cards. Yeah. I was like, then I started. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But no, then I kind of got a bit more of appreciation for the TCG because I played a couple of games. Like I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to collect all the cards or something like it's physical media and it's just more junk. But like I've got more of an appreciation for it now, shall we say?
I, on a complete whim, I wonder if I do have any Pokemon cards like near me. And I have some from a promo pack, which this is going to sound crazy. I swear either McDonald's or some other like fast food thing had like Pokemon promo packs for a while years ago.
Yeah, it would have been McDonald's.
Yeah,
Mickey
cool.
D's.
And I have in front of me a Pikachu, a Wooloo, and a Farfetch'd. So if anyone wants to trade, hit me up.
I'm more inclined to go and check it out on a tabletop simulator before I commit to buying cards. Just because I want to learn how the game works before committing to buying cards.
Yeah, play Pokemon TCG Live.
I remember being confused by how the game worked as a kid, but when I chipped in a bunch for that booster pack, it took me like maybe an hour to figure out, okay, this is how it works. Like it's not too much more complicated than what Pokemon Pocket is. All the same mechanics are there. It's just energy in the deck, which I guess is more of like a magic thing.
Yeah, there is like a mega power creep in the TCG as well, because the deck that I was playing, the Chien Power X deck, 300
Oh, yeah, no, I've got no idea about deck creep and matter and all that stuff for the TCG. Yeah,
they want you to buy new boosters whenever they release a new set, so there is going to be power creep.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense, because Pokemon has that fucking thing
tries
with
to
like
manage that as well by like the TCG rules. It's like, yeah, you can only play cards from like the past 3 or 4 booster sets.
I just don't like how Pokemon does the fucking format thing. So it's like every 3 months, it's like, nah, all these cards are legal. Fuck off.
Yeah.
It makes sense because if you don't do that, you run into the issue where Yu-Gi-Oh is just like, we got to keep track of like 30 years of banned cards and what they do. But Yu-Gi-Oh is also very exciting in like when there manages to be a moment of like, oh hey, this fringe card that hasn't appeared for like 25 years suddenly came back and it's being used to absolutely demolish the current meta.
Alternatively, we could get a group of volunteers to come up with like a community loved but slightly different to the regular vanilla rules version of Pokemon TCG. And then when they suggest that they wanted to ban a card, we could all send them death threats. Anyone else in?
Hold on, I got another booster pack. Which one do I open this time?
Pikachu.
He said it?
Yeah,
I'm opening Pikachu again.
Eat shit.
Do I have a backwards one? No backwards. So spin the cards. I'm going to do the Steven method. Spin. And you. What did I get? Farfetch'd, Jigglypuff.
It's my IP address.
Mienshao, and a Jolteon. Jolteon's actually new for me.
Hey,
ooh, you're welcome, by the way.
Jolteon is actually Jolteon would actually be pretty good for a Pikachu EX deck as well. I've gone against a few people that use it.
Electric Touch is generally good.
I don't want to make this a meta discussion. I disagree. But anyway, if people
it's a gambling card,
cool.
I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I don't know that there's too much more that we can add to TCG. Does anyone have like a favorite card they wanna share?
Oh,
I'm assuming this is going to make
more work. I can give you a least
for...
favorite card. The one person that ran a Hypno in their Mewtwo EX deck. I hate that specifically because it sits on the bench and it puts your Pokemon to sleep.
There's an absolutely disgusting strat with 2 of those, and then there's something else. I think there's something else. Oh, and a Wigglytuff EX to also put your Pokemon to sleep.
Oh god,
it's so funny.
I think favorite might just go down to Cubone Marowak EX because funny gambling card, haha, and it was one of the first EXs I pulled.
I think it was one of the first. Yeah, it's one of the first EXs I pulled as well. I think I like the art style of the Marchamp EX.
Oh, actually, art style Alakazam EX is. Was it an EX or just Alakazam? But Alakazam full art, fantastic.
Yeah, regular. There is no Alakazam EX in Pocket yet, but yeah, I know the one you mean. That's also up there. That's also a very cool card.
I'll try to get pictures of all these cards up on a video version as well.
Remember, we want pictures of the screen, not screenshots. There better be an unregistered Hypercam 2 in the corner.
Oh yeah, so good.
Wait, but if... Okay, I'll figure out how to make that work.
Anything from you, Steve?
Great game. Everybody get it.
Fair enough. What a fantastic way to end it. And it's free. Should mention that too.
Shit! If it's free, you can't get it for 75% off. What's the point?
They're practically giving it away.
You know what? You're right, Steve. Pay me $5 and then you can play it.
You know what? I'm not going to do that.
But that's 75% off. I normally charge you $20 to play it.
Yeah, but if I spend $0, I get 100% off, which is more. Even I know it's more.
I can't win with you sometimes. Anyway, why don't we leave it there and move on, because that's the end of part 1 for this week. Thank you to you both as always. We get to move on.
Hold on. I still had Shadow Generations.
Fuck, so you did. I can't believe I jumped over that. Yeah, Shadow Generations. Yeah, we're good. I'm just going to
It's been an hour and a half, but you got to speedrun it.
Yes,
I'll try to keep
it
fairly short, so 15 minutes. 15 minutes.
5.
Shadow Generations is really good. Like, it's been...
Thank you, Seth.
It's shocking how good this game is. Like, usually with a good Sonic game, it's like, yeah, this is good, but there's a big caveat with it. Like, Sonic Unleashed. Sonic Unleashed is good, but half the game is playing as the Werehog, which is a really shitty God of War knockoff. Sonic Colors is good, but it relies too heavily on the 2D segments, and the level design is kind of blocky, so it's not fantastic. Sonic Generations Vanilla is good, but Classic Sonic kind of feels off, and it's kind of short for what it is. So yeah, it's a lot of like, even with the good Sonic games, it's like a caveat. This is just straight up good throughout. There's no caveats besides I wish there was more. All the levels are like decently chunky levels. Like they're all like anywhere between like the 4 to 7 minute mark, which I think is like a good length for a Sonic level. Shadow's abilities that he has in the game, like he's got his Chaos Spears, which in the levels is just used to stun enemies, or like sometimes there'll be an enemy with like spikes around it or electricity around it. You throw a spear and it'll deactivate those elements to make it so that you can actually attack them. Chaos Control is very fun in that it stops time for 5 seconds, and it actually stops the timer at like the stage timer as well. Hold on, let me sort out the dog real quick.
Ruff. No, I thought that was just him doing the barking.
Sorry, the dog heard Mum downstairs and wanted to go see her.
Can I go see her?
No. Anyway, Chaos Control freezes time for 5 seconds. It freezes a timer in the corner as well, so it makes using that as often as possible very fun, because it's be like, hey, this level was 5 minutes, but because I use Chaos Control so much, my timer actually says 3 minutes, and that's how all the leaderboards are being scored by what the final stage timer says, rather than how long you actually spent in the level. And that makes routing levels interesting for the speedrunning aspect as well, because like, I could take this shortcut or this skip, but it won't give me a Chaos Control charge. So maybe I take this other path where I will get a charge and can freeze a timer, and then maybe like my timer by the time I get to that same point in the level later on will actually be lower. So it makes like decision making and routing in that sort of sense very interesting, rather than just going, no, this is a skip, I'm going to take the skip every time. The levels are really well designed. There's so many paths in every level that I'm still shocked seeing things right now. I've been playing one of the final levels pretty consistently recently, and I've seen like 3 paths around the middle area that are all really interesting. And then I watched someone do a speedrun of the level today, and I was like, right from the beginning of the level, there was a path I've never seen before on all of my replays of that level, just because I didn't notice that if you hold up during a skydiving segment, you can find a different path. And it was like 2 other paths down later in the level. So like, I'm very interested to like play the level myself and explore those paths and see how to like even better my time even more. And that's like a lot of fun for Sonic games, like trying to explore these different paths, getting the high, low, mid routes, and that's been missing from a lot of games. Like Sonic Forces, it's a very linear game and doesn't have a lot of paths to it. Sonic Frontiers, all of the levels were just reused old levels, so it's really refreshing to get like a brand new game that actually has like interesting level design. Going back to the powers again, there's like a surfing ability where it's like, hey, when you go on water, you start surfing across it to take advantage of like water sections of levels. Then there's like this morphing ability where you go into like purple liquid, and it's also got like hookshot areas all over the place, and it's very unwieldy the first time you learn it, first time you use it, and it's only used for one level and 2 boss fights. So it's like, it doesn't leave a great impression at the beginning, so it disincentivizes people to replay that level because it kind of gives the impression it's a bad level. But then once you get the hang of it, it's like, no, it is actually a really fun ability. Like using the boost from it and jumping off to get like a lot of distance, it's a lot of fun. And once you realize how the hook shot works in with that ability, it's a lot of fun to abuse. So I went from going, it's got some fun abilities, but there's one that's kind of a downer, to actually going, no, wait, all of these abilities are actually super fun. And yeah, I could gush about this for a while because there's just so many good elements about this game. It's just so much fun to play, and I'm shocked that Sonic Team put out something this high quality. Like, I'm a big Sonic fan. I know that's I take what I can get with that series. I know that they're not like all fantastic. Even the good ones, there's bad elements to them. So it's really shocking to go just play this and see, no, this one's actually fantastic all the way through. Even the story for it, it's like really well done. Sonic Team ups their cutscene animation quality immensely. Like, these are actually well done cinematics now. It's weird to say, but they did like a personal story for Shadow where this kind of acts like a sequel to Shadow the Hedgehog, where he's got to confront Black Doom again and confront his past of like how everyone he knew and loved in the past all got murdered in front of him, and he's just got to like try and overcome that trauma again.
Nice light topic for a Sonic game.
Yeah.
Just like
Shadow the Hedgehog,
like
his backstory is he lived in
work.
space and then the military gunned down the people he loved in front of him, including a sick child that was dying of anime wasting away disease.
Anime wasting away.
You know what I mean when I say that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's no reason. It's just like, yeah, I'm dying. It's like, yeah, right.
But yeah, it's like really personal for Shadow, the story, and it's really well done and well told and well delivered. It's shocking how good that they did it, where it actually ends on a pretty good emotional beats for him. And yeah, trying to keep it short, Shadow Generations is fantastic. The bundle of Sonic X Shadow Generations is like just worth the price. Initially, when I played it, I played Sonic Generations the day before. I'm like, yeah, no, this is still good. This is the game I remember liking back in 2011. And then I played Shadow Generations, and I was like, this was incredibly mean to package this with Sonic Generations, because I'm going to load this package, and I have no reason to load up the Sonic Generations half of it. I'm always going to go to Shadow Generations and play those levels, because they all blow the base experience out of the water. It's like night and day difference. It is such an improvement on that style of game. So yeah, 9 out of 10. I'm right now. I'm going through like, I'm considering my top 5 games of the year for when we talk about that, and I'm tossing whether this or Astrobot is my number 3.
Ooh, did we get a sneak peek at the other two?
No.
Understandable. Cool. Is that actually, like, you actually did speedrun that? Was there anything else that you wanted to mention, or are you good?
I think I'm good. Like, I think I hit pretty much every point I wanted to talk about on that one.
Okay, cool. Well, in that case, that brings us to the end of Round Launch for this week. Thank you to you both, as always. We get to move on to part 2 for this week, which is, of course, the news. How would people like to put down the amazingly fun Pokemon Pocket and pick up the even more amazingly fun multiverses?
I wouldn't.
No, neither.
That was actually going to be the Steam charts for the week, by the way.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
How's it looking?
It's around or worse than when they killed it off last time.
Yeah.
Sucks to be right, but here we are. Anyway, they are adding Raven from DC and Adventure Time's
from DC. I mean, I know you mean DC Comics, but come on, say Teen Titans.
Yeah, okay, nice. Yeah, Teen Titans Raven.
I didn't watch Teen Titans. That means nothing to me. He was right to say DC.
Disgusting. Teen Titans was iconic.
True, and even Teen Titans Go, special place in my heart as well. I enjoyed that.
Also disgusting. Get out of here. I'm the host now. Wait, shit, this is scary. You can have the host seat back.
Thank you. The ass print molds to my ass and my ass only. Perfect biometric data.
It was too small for my groove.
Anyway, did you know that Multiverses is in season 4? I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Hang on, no. So you didn't. So they've got DC superhero Raven from Teen Titans Go, and they've also got Marceline from fucking Adventure Time. Is it Marceline or Marcen?
Marceline.
Marceline, yeah, okay.
The Vampire Queen.
Yeah, that rhymes. Interesting they chose these two characters, but I guess it's Halloween themed, so.
A little late for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, and it comes out on November 12th, just in time for
Halloween. I thought it had already come out. Oh, how silly.
I think season 3 was also Halloween themed because I think that was the one that had Beetlejuice.
That's
okay.
right. Yeah.
Oh, all the best to. Could have gone like a Scooby-Doo character. I don't know who, but someone.
There's a very funny thing with this as well. Today they released the gameplay breakdown of Raven's moveset in the game, and whoever was doing the sound editing for that video was either incompetent or pissed off because the commentary of the person talking over her moveset is only coming out of the right channel, and the gameplay is coming out of the left channel very low.
Actual unhinged behavior.
That's crazy. That's dog shit as well. You know, some marketing manager had to sign off on that, so he'll get the blame. But yeah, cool, interesting. I'm not going to pick it back up, but all the best.
Yeah, this was nothing for me. This is just another note in the, well, I guess it's trudging along a little more.
Holy shit, I completely forgot the Powerpuff Girls are in this too.
Yeah,
they were like the last characters added, I think.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, all I have to say.
I like the design they've gone for Raven in this. It's like Teen Titans inspired, but a little different as well. It's a good look for her. It's better than most redesigns for her have gotten.
Yeah, it's. I really hope that all 17 people that play this note that down and appreciate it. Next up, though, there is a new Virtua Fighter game in development. Now, was this the one that was rumored last time?
Yeah, it's been rumored for a while.
Yeah,
and it's just like. The person in charge of like Sega's transmedia like initiative, like he's overseeing like all taking their IPs and putting it into movies and TV shows and everything like that. He just kind of dropped the bomb that like, yeah, we have a new Virtua Fighter in development as well. And it's like, oh, they haven't announced that, but that's nice to know. And that's kind of all we got on it. Virtua Fighter is an exciting one.
Not much more to add to that.
Yeah, I don't expect it to sell a lot because Virtua Fighter is kind of niche, but it'd be nice to have a 3D fighter out there that like gives Tekken some competition and brings some ideas to the table because, like Soul Calibur, Virtua Fighter has ring out mechanics in it, and the ring outs in Virtua Fighter are hilarious.
They've got all the Virtua Fighter, the first 2 Virtua Fighter games in like the latest Yakuza game, so be interesting to see if like there's some involvement with them, but.
Yeah,
I reckon it's just a remake. I reckon it's just a remake. Fuck you guys. It's not a new one. It's a remake. Fuck you.
No, Virtua Fighter 5 was just released as a remake like last year on the Dragon Engine.
Oh, what on the Dragon? Fuck yeah, no. Kiryu, my boy. Okay, then it won't be.
I hope Kiryu is added as a character to Virtua Fighter. It's high time he was added to a fighting game.
Multiverses.
No. People have been begging for him in Tekken for so long, but with Sega making their own fighting game, there's no excuse not to have him in there.
It's all just a licensing issue. Neat.
Speaking of Tekken, have any of your favorites or least favorites been hit by the balance changes recently, Seth?
I haven't looked too deep into the balance changes, actually. I just kind of play by feel.
my boy. Believe in the heart of the buttons. Love that view. All right, well, moving on. Next thing up, there's a just like there's a new Virtua Fighter game in development. There's also a new SpongeBob SquarePants game in development. Maybe a fighter, who knows, from THQ Nordic. Which every time I see THQ Nordic working on something, I go, I thought they were the ones that were shut down, but no, it was is it Volition, or am I thinking of someone else again? Though someone attached to Saints Row got shut down.
Oh god, I should know this.
Was it THQ? Or they went into bankruptcy or something?
They were under Embracer Group, but it was a different studio name.
Yeah. Anyway, getting
Which
distracted.
Saints Row, the most recent one, or the
Volition?
2020. It was Volition. Okay, that's what I thought. 2020.
Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah.
Steve, your internet.
What do you mean? I'm still here. I didn't say anything.
This is absolutely
This is going to be a
tragic.
pain to edit.
Oh, yeah.
I just won't say
Oh,
anything.
you're very
I
crackly
am-
and breaking up on our side.
I'm pressing X to doubt that.
Okay, well, I just won't say anything. I'll type it in the chat as well.
That'll be even more of a pain to edit. Just go back to your 5G.
I'm still on my 5G.
I just
and doesn't-
won't say anything. Ladies and gentlemen.
It doesn't say that. Move on. Talk about SpongeBob.
No, this is Patrick.
Speak-
yeah, is it?
Actual continuation on that joke. Did you get the Patrick Star game?
No,
The Patrick
no, I
Physics Simulator game?
didn't. I have not.
I've seen a couple of clips of that, and it looks like it was very wonky in a funny way.
Just like Patrick. Right. Yeah, I don't know that there's a huge amount that we need to add. An all-new adventure awaiting in 2025. Yeah, SpongeBob and Patrick are turning into ghosts. That'd be kind of cool.
They can call it a high-end game for like SpongeBob, so it's going to be on like a similar scale to Bikini Bottom, Battle for Bikini Bottom, Rehydrated, and the Cosmic Shake. So it'll be like a full game and not just like the Patrick Star Physics Simulator.
Hold on. Yeah, probably not too much more that we can add to that one, though. Next up, we have some Nier Automata DLC and Stellar Blade coming in 2 weeks, alongside a photo mode. Well, I guess actually next week, November 20th, is getting closer than I thought.
Yeah.
Kuma news. Absolute
What are our
Kuma
thoughts?
news.
Definitely how it reads when they say that, hey, there's 2B in a photo mode. Be safe.
It's very interesting because the trailer just shows shots of like 2B and A2 being placed over Eve, the main character of Stellar Blade. So it looks like it was just like a reskin DLC that's coming out. But it's one of these screenshots here that looks like it's on the moon base. I haven't played Stellar Blade, so maybe this is just a location in that game, and they like use a photo mode to make it look like it's the moon base from Nier Automata. But if it is that moon base, it'll be interesting if there's actually a Nier Automata level in here as part of the crossover. Gonna try and get to this game before the year ends so I can see if it's in my top 5 or not, because the demo was actually a lot of fun.
Kuma game.
Ambitious. Hope it works out.
Kuma game with good action.
Grim.
That's what Kuma say about every game.
Like, they made it a Kuma game, so you want to play it with one hand, but they made it an intense action game, so you have to play it with both hands.
Behold the dilemma.
The modern day dilemma.
Well, speaking of dilemmas, Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster demo is now available. This is a dilemma in that I've seen some people in favor of it and some people against it.
It's
not
weird because the
demo
demo's come out
specifically,
like
but just
2 or
the
3
remaster
weeks
in general.
after the game came out. Like, it's fucking weird.
Yeah, because it's come out on a delay like this, I think the game's probably not selling well, and now they're doing this as an attempt to try and drive people into buying it.
Yeah, I saw that Crobecat popped his head back up to dunk on Dead Rising by showing the differences in, I guess, tone and presentation between the deluxe remaster and the original.
It's like his
things
second video since he's done that Resident Evil 4 one, but it's very funny to see like his Resident Evil 4 one performed really well, but everyone hated it. So his next video directly after it didn't perform as well as that one. Like it tanked his viewership by like half.
Yeah. It's not for me. I preferred what Dead Rising 2 did, and even then, I don't think the other Dead Rising games have kind of come close enough for me because I really enjoyed Dead Rising 2.
Yeah,
I don't like the
Dead
visual
Rising 2's the
look
best.
of the Dead Rising remake, remaster, deluxe edition, whatever they want to call it. I'm more tempted to just replay the original one because I think that looks better.
Okay, so before you were two choices. One, you might think it looks better, but you have to run it in Games for Windows Live.
I think they just removed that. I think Capcom has removed all the Games for Windows Live stuff in their games. Or they're on track to do it, because I remember we talked about it and we're like, oh, hey, that means I can try out Lost Planet 2 and try that online.
Yes, you're right, yeah. It'd be really funny if in a push to like what they did with the Warcraft remaster of like, hey, please go buy the deluxe remaster because we've reminded everyone how much of a pain the original is. Actually, that was the opposite of Warcraft. The new one was the pain. Anyway, you get the point. Games Windows Live sucked. We're good to move on.
Good to move on.
Cool. Next up, we have actually, this is up your alley, Seth. Metaphor director working on a new game. You want to take us through this one?
Yeah, it's very funny that the headline says that, because in the actual article, the quote says, yeah, no, I don't think of it as an individual. I think of it as like Atlas as a whole and our team is creating something new that I'm not specifically leading. But yeah, I think it's called Studio Zero, is the Persona 5 and the Metaphor ReFantasio team. They're on track. Well, they're currently in the middle of making another game, even though Metaphor had just come out like a month ago. So good news to hear that they're like, yeah, no, we're right back into doing another thing. Metaphor coming out is just one step, like just a step on the way for us releasing another thing.
You reckon it's
very
Persona
excited.
6?
I'm still going for probably Persona 6, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still currently going through Metaphor right now, and it's fantastic. I hope a lot of the things that they did in this game make their way over to Persona.
Probably just a lot of metaphors.
Metaphor, I'll talk about it more, but Metaphor feels like a Persona game with all of the fat trimmed off.
Oh, hang on. I hate bloatware in video games. Neat. Yeah, I want to play it, but whatever. I'll get to it eventually. Not for full price.
This is very much a worth full price game.
Everything goes on sale, Seth.
Well, but you know what doesn't go on sale? The standards of the Mass Effect director, because he says he's not putting any discounts on Mass Effect graphics. It's going to be photorealistic for as long as he's running it. I made that segue work. Shut up.
You did. You did.
No
You did well,
DreamWorks
Pat.
faces for Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just the background context of this is that Dragon Age Veilguard has like DreamWorks faces. Like every character just looks very not cartoony, but they've got like a sheen to them, for lack of a better word. Like, and it's not just their faces; it's the character models and the landscape as well. And to be honest, I always thought there was something weird about like the Veilguard trailers and the playthroughs that I was watching, or the deep dive detail things. And then like when I watched Skill Up's video on his review, I was like, oh yeah, that's why it looks like fucking weird. Not bad, but it's just a very different tonal change.
It's a radical art direction shift for a series that already has like a established art direction.
Yeah, it's got its own established aesthetic, and it kind of shifted a little bit away from that in Inquisition, but a little bit of that was because it has its own open world type of thing it was doing. But like, yeah, Veilguard is completely different. I mean, completely different is probably not the right word, but it's just a different aesthetic that it's going for. But it's good to hear the Mass Effect won't be doing that. Us Mass Effect heads don't have to worry, Pat.
Us? You mean us massives?
Us effectors, if you would.
I would not.
Us three, if you potentially would.
It's interesting because I unrelated to BioWare, but just because
Us shepherds,
they announced,
if you perhaps, that was a good one.
That was pretty good.
Yeah,
But it's coming along like season 16 where he's trying to push a joke too much.
Shut up, Seth. Our shepherds are talking.
I'm thinking of Civilization when the graphic update from 4 to 5 gave everything the sort of Pixar-y type look.
The
And
cartoony
it's
one.
funny because
Yep.
I remember. Wait, was it? No, sorry, not 4 to 5, 5 to 6.
5 to 6, 5 to 6. Yeah. Even 4 to 5 had a bit of a change, but 5 to 6 was the definite big one.
Yeah, and so it was funny because I remember like booting 6 and going, it's I don't think it's it's a 3D model, it's a 3D model. The proportions are a bit whatever. And then I saw the like community Steam mod of resetting the character models to their proportions of Civ 5 and then just the screenshot differences and okay. I'm noticing the difference now.
Yeah, you don't realize until it's side by side, yeah.
Yeah. Not necessarily that one's better than the other, but just I can see how if it's a long running series and it gets a graphical shift like that it would throw some people for better or worse. All I'm saying is I really want big head mode for Mass Effect.
Never say no to a big head.
Facts. We get to move on.
Always good to move on, my friend.
Cool. Well, this next one, Seth has left a note here that says he is so fucking disappointed. You want to talk us through why?
Yeah. So a couple months ago, we talked about how Hideaki Itsuno, famed director of Devil May Cry 3 through 5, both Dragon's Dogma games, and a bunch of fighting games as well, over the course of his 30-year career at Capcom. He left Capcom to go work at another studio and head up a new AAA game. Today they announced that he has joined Lightspeed Studios. He's establishing a studio in Japan that he's going to be leading. And when they announced this, I looked into Lightspeed a little bit, and it's like, they announced a game that looked decent at the Game Awards. I think it was called The Last Remnant or something along those lines. I'll look it up as I'm talking, but they're kind of like an unproven studio. They're kind of an unproven studio as well, and
no, the Last Remnants of Xbox 360 game. You know what you're talking about. Lightspeed. I'm criticizing you in real time. Fuck you, Seth.
Last Sentinel was the game. It was like a CG. It was a CG trailer where a bunch of people were in a hideout and were getting attacked by robots until they were saved. It looked interesting, but again, it's just one of those CG trailers that doesn't really tell you a lot besides the tone of what they want to do. That alone wouldn't be the problem, but their most recent video on their YouTube channel is them going to schools in Hong Kong and going, hey, we really want to push a generative AI in video games. And then I looked at that and went, oh no, this is one of those companies. And yeah, so my hope of this studio and their output is not great right now.
That's rough.
Yeah, so a lot of people that are fans of Itsuno's work are just like, I'm going to consider him retired at this point rather than him making another game, because if it's using generative AI, I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't say anyway. It didn't say they're going to use it. It just said they're exploring it.
Which means that they want to use it.
Yeah, but they're not using it yet.
And teaching it to students early on before they're in their careers, it's like we want to teach people to be reliant on this tool.
Yeah. AI is coming for us all, my friends. We're rolling out ChatGPT at my work. Just like when the computer came out in the 90s, taken off here. Actually, it might be different for art, I guess. We're just using it to cut out the bullshit admin work. But well. How about you generate a segue?
There's a lot of ethical arguments against using it for art. That is a whole podcast worth of discussion on its own.
Look, as someone who barely appreciates art, I'm not going to. I can't. I physically can't. But if I type a couple of words. But if I type a couple of words into ChatGPT, it can draw me a picture.
Yeah, and then make sure that you do it ethically by putting Rule 34 at the end of it.
Patrick with big boobs nude. Rule 34.
Rule 34. You know that'll give you SpongeBob, right?
Oh, actually, probably would. Yeah.
Wait a second. Why would you use generative AI when you're so against piracy and emulation?
Whoa. I've never said I'm against those. I'm just against you. Anyway, move on before we get the band hammer from Daddy Nintendo. Generate us a segue, Pat.
Speaking of moving on, Private Division is moving on from Take-Two Interactive to an undisclosed buyer. Boom.
How'd you fucking do it? You can't
Nailed the
replace this
segue.
guy with AI. Holy fucking shit.
Oh, 10 out of 10. So the Take-Two Interactive software CEO, Strauss Zelnick, has said that they are selling publishing label Private Division to an undisclosed buyer as it shifts to a focus on larger projects. Not a huge amount more to mention attached to it.
Yeah, it just sounds like Take-Two really wants to be all hands on deck for GTA.
Yeah, that's probably fair, to be honest. I'm still not... I had this conspiracy theory a while ago. I'm going to bring it up again. I don't
love
know
conspiracy
if
theories.
any game, unless it is absolutely perfect, can be a good follow-up to GTA 5, given how massive that game was and is, shockingly, still, however many years on.
It's the way well. Like it's still constantly like those GTA Shark cards are constantly in the fucking top 5 sellers for like the PlayStation Store and the Xbox Store for whatever fucking reason. That is, and the way that it's like taken off with like role playing servers as well is, I don't know. I honestly think the GTA 6, like, I would be very interested to see what their predicted sales figures are for that game.
Well, no, we sort of have those because the before the official teaser for GTA 6 came out, we had the financial expectations for
Rockstar. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, for Rockstar. Am I remembering that correctly? And they were like, we're going to get like hundreds of millions of dollars. So.
Yeah, our earnings are supposed to be $1 billion.
And $1 billion for GTA 6.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's like, I wonder why. It's no reason. Yeah, that's
predicting we're going to win the lottery.
Yeah, but I think I'd like to see it as more of a. That's probably a good starting point. But I'd like to see a more holistic, like over its life cycle. Like,
yes, yeah, no,
I don't think when
I get what you're saying, and I agree with you.
Yeah, like to still be. Do they? I think like what before, like 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember. Did you say? I don't know if you said it on this show, if I was listening to someone else, or someone I saw a tweet or something, and it was like, do they even need to make GTA 6? Like they don't need the money. Money's coming from GTA 5. They can milk that golden cow for like another 10 more years if they wanted to. So and like we've got a release date and stuff. Like, look, is that a day one? Is GTA 6 a day one game for Steve? Maybe it was day one. GTA 5 is a day one game for me. There's a picture of me standing on my collector's edition at EB Games at midnight in EB Games Penrith.
I had to pick up the copy of GTA 5 that we got because it was my brother ordered it, but he wasn't 18, so I had to go and pick it up. They were not
checking IDs. They were not fucking checking IDs. There were so many people there.
They absolutely were not, but it was one of those things where I was like, I'll go pick it up because just in case, sort of thing.
I remember the stats that they released like a couple of years later, and there was like a blip on the GDP over the year of everyone taking that day off, and it was like, we expected that there were like, I think, I don't remember what the stat was in terms of if it was like New Zealand or Oceania or the world, but just like hundreds of days of productivity lost because of all these people taking the day off to play it. 10 out of 10.
But yeah, making my bold claim here, GTA 6 isn't going to be a day one for me.
It won't be a day one for me either.
I thought GTA 5 was fine. I enjoyed it enough, but then Red Dead 2 has a great story, but I hate playing it. like their focus.
Wow, Steve review much.
Their focus.
9 out of 10.
Their focus on realism in movement and animations is like, I understand this is appealing to someone, but this isn't appealing to me. It feels like I'm like fighting against the controls to do anything.
Yeah.
And if GTA 6 continues down that line, it's another one of those things where it's like, I understand this is an appeal for someone, this isn't for me. I'll probably end up trying it out though, because I'll know someone that buys it.
It'd be very hard not to know someone that buys GTA 6, my dude.
Very true.
You
Are we good to
normally
move on?
friends at work will come up to you. You've been playing Grand Theft Auto. You like video games, Steve? I'm like,
Yeah, they're already projected to make like $100,000 billion. They don't need my money as well.
what if they need just one more copy?
Imagine that they release it for free. Like, not like free to play model or anything. It's literally just a game as is, but just free. They were like, yeah, we made so much money off GTA 5. You guys just get this one.
We got this one, thanks. You got it next time.
It's like when people thank Tim Sweeney for all of the games they pirate because they're only on Epic Game Store.
Doesn't Epic Game Store give away like 4 fucking games a month or something?
They do, but then it's also like he paid for exclusivity for those games. It's like, yep, no, you got my copy for me, thanks.
Yeah, all right, that's pretty funny. How is the Epic Game? Anyway, we're getting off topic. Let's move on.
Not good. Abridged version. We don't go any further. Not good.
All right, all the best. That doesn't seem very epic.
No, and neither does Intel, possibly knowing about their CPUs crashing out even before they went on sale, at least according to a class action lawsuit.
Why? Hang on. Before we get into this article, why the fuck? This comes from PCGamer.com. Why the fuck is the byline for this? Release the legal hounds, Smithers. What the fuck?
Yeah.
PC Gamer tries their best to get people clicking on their articles so they make money. They do a lot of rage bait articles. They do a lot of funny bylines. They do a lot of, this game just came out, we're going to pump out 20 articles about it. Like,
yeah, that's fine. That's all, going through the archives. That's all fine. That's all fine. I understand
I was
how
going through the
works.
archives to get news dockets items. It's like, oh hey, I can tell exactly when Dragon Age Veilguard released because they're starting to do like, here's how you date this character for one article, and then another one is, here's how you date this character, and then like 2 days later, it's like, I think what's her name, Morrigan?
Morrigan, yeah. Well, I don't know which character you're talking about, but the one from Dragon Age Origins, yeah.
She's a black-haired girl that's in every Dragon Age game.
Yeah, that's Morrigan.
Yeah, like 2 days after the game came out, just inexplicably, I think Morrigan is the greatest support NPC that's ever been in a video game ever.
She's not a support. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, no, I just think that was a very funny byline. I didn't want to talk about PC Gamer for that long. But yeah, those ships do be crashing, though.
They do be. It's like I've hummed and hawed about like, do I build another PC? And the thing is, if I was to build a PC, I'd absolutely, maybe this is just bias from the previous PCs I built, but it's always like NVIDIA graphics card, Intel CPU. That's always been what I built.
As someone who's never built a PC, everybody says, everybody said the same thing. It's like there's no purists. You got to go hybrid, which is very funny.
Because for a long time, AMD was the competitor, but there were things they were lacking on that made Intel just the better choice. But right now, AMD's been kicking Intel's teeth in, and it's mostly because Intel's just been sitting there letting them kick them in the face.
It's crazy how much, like, or just how uncaring might even be the right word, Intel feels like it's being with regards to, like, trying to sort of push the boundaries or doing things well with future CPU development. Crazy. Anyway, class action lawsuit filed because of the, like, people hopefully remember the issues that the recent generations of Intel CPUs have had.
The 13th and 14th gen CPUs.
Yeah, there was a whole thing about
2 years worth of CPUs.
There was a whole thing about like, are people experiencing higher crashes of recent games because of like graphical demand or other things? And then it turned out there was a defective, I think, voltage gate somewhere in the CPU that Intel tried to release a microcode fix for, but it was more like a half patch because it was like a fundamental problem with the CPU architecture. It was a whole thing. And it's basically just...
Seemingly Intel knew about it before the CPUs released or as the 12th gen ones released, and so the class action lawsuit is like, hey, you willingly released a faulty product and you didn't have any labeling about it, you just sent it out with a high price because you know you're the market leader and you can put a high price point on your products. Like you can charge a premium. And yeah, that's wrong, and we're throwing a lawsuit in your faces about it.
Yeah, real sad state of affairs at old Intel.
Yeah, it's making me really consider that when I do eventually build a new PC. Because right now my plan is I'm just going to buy a 12th gen CPU and put that in because I don't trust the 13th and 14th gen ones, and a 12th gen will get me by enough for the rest of the gaming generation. And then when I do eventually need to do a full upgrade, I'm probably going to go AMD.
So then this is getting a little bit
similar.
This is getting a little bit off topic. But how often do you fellas like upgrade your PC, CPUs, and GPUs? Like, as a console player, I just fucking plug and play it, and it's fine. Like, is it every couple of years, every generation, every couple of generations? What's the dealio?
The last time I did anything different for my PC that wasn't just a storage upgrade was like 3 years ago, and even then that was like, I need a new cooling system in there because like the normal fans that were in there weren't great, so I just got a liquid cooling system to put in there to make the CPU cooler. But it's not often. Like I'd say if you build a decent rig, you don't need to upgrade unless it's until like 5 or 6 years later, unless you're like a super enthusiast and want to push it every year or every 2 years.
I built a few computers for like other people and things, and the computer that I built for myself, I bought and built in 2012. Sorry, end of 2013. And when I bought and built that, I kept everything the same, but I gave it a graphics card upgrade because I initially had a, I think it was an AMD actually, 5 something, so long ago. But I upgraded the graphics card in a Black Friday sale to a 1080 Ti in 2017, and I upgraded the RAM in 2018, I think, but it otherwise was not touched, and it was still running stuff. It was getting towards the end of its life just because it was bloody 11 years old, but finally died early this year, and so I basically sold it for parts.
Oh, that's right. I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. But that lasted me about 11 years.
11 years and only really swapping out the GPU ones isn't
so
bad.
It was running the same 3.4 gigahertz second, third, whatever gen Intel CPU i7 that I bought for $450 from PB Tech in 2013.
I don't know what PB Tech is, but yeah, no, that sounds mad.
Yeah, I think...
Love that PC.
I think 2020, 2021 aroundish time, I bought like a new motherboard and a new CPU, but I've kept my GPU the same since I first got the computer, which is like a standard 2070, and I haven't needed to touch
standard
that.
2070.
Yeah, well, I don't think they do the standard 2070s anymore. I only ever see people talk about 2070 Supers and after, so I thought I'd have to put that moniker there.
Yeah, probably. I'm just thinking like, here I am going like, yeah, I upgraded to a 1080 Ti, and then just everything beating the shit out of it in the last like 4 years.
Yeah, no, I bought the computer for like $2,000, and that price was basically just for the GPU because every other part in it was kind of shit.
Yeah,
and then over the course of like 2 years, I bought other parts, which is probably like another $1,000 or so into getting it into a decent computer, and that's lasted me like 4 years now, 3-4 years.
I built my machine for under $2,000, but I don't remember how, it wasn't that much under $2,000 because it was $450 for the processor, $600 or $700 for the GPU. Motherboard I got like a cheap, I think it was like a $150 or $200 one, cheap RAM, and I had a case, so I was able to save like $100 on a case. But yeah, anyway, getting nostalgic again. Moving on. Hope Intel fucking gets their comeuppance if the class action does go through. Because, god damn it, guys, everyone knows the most oppressed class on the planet are gamers. Why are you kicking them when they're down?
Just Xbox gamers,
especially. There is a list of 3 things coming out to improve Star Wars Outlaws, which cool. I actually don't know anyone that played Star Wars Outlaws.
I do not either.
I know one person, and he only got it because he's a big Star Wars head. Like, watches all the movies, reads all the books, watches all the TV shows, type of stuff. He liked it, but he's not that much of a gamer, so I think he's just happy to play Star Wars.
I watched one streamer who got a review code for the game because back when they were very lenient, he got into the Ubisoft partner program back in like 2010, 2011. And so he just kind of gets Ubisoft games for free if he wants them. He showed off like the first couple of hours of the game, and then he played the rest of it in his own time. And his impression seemed to be, yeah, they front load all the worst parts of that game, and after you get like through the 1/3 to halfway point, it gets a lot better, but not to the point where it's like a massively great game. It becomes like a 7 out of 10.
The fuck is it with game companies and putting the shit parts at the side of the game? Fuck off. Digimon Survive.
I'm trying to think if there's a summary of the things that they're working on. They're basically just title updates.
Yeah, it sounds like
here we
they're
go.
just doing like 3 big batches of updates and like patching the game, and then also doing. I think they're doing DLC.
I think
Oh, it's
so.
Ubisoft. They have to. Like, it's Ubisoft. It's their fucking model, man.
True. Anyway, so the first key area is game combat. Second area is stealth, and third area is character control. So we'll see. I don't think it'll sway me into getting it. I wasn't super enthused to play it, and I don't think I'm still super enthused to play it or not. But obviously, if it makes the game better, I'm not going to stick my nose up at it.
Also worth pointing out is I don't know who was a creative director last time, but all of these were being stated by the new creative director of the game, because they replaced that role after the game came out. The new person is Drew Rancher, and these are all things that they're saying, hey, this is what I want to... Drew Reckner. And this is all the stuff that he's saying he wants to improve on the game. It's kind of weird to have a creative director change after a game launch like this.
Also, while I'm thinking of Ubisoft news, have we mentioned the NFT?
No, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, so Ubisoft made a
Bless
bit
you.
of an oopsie. Thank you. Made a bit of an oopsie by deciding that they wanted to release an NFT game for some fucking reason.
Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, this is insane.
I believe it also had like there was one guy that was doing so well in the game that people thought he was hacking, but no, it was just like some bug in the server, and it happened over a weekend, and no one was working on that game on a weekend, so no one was able to actually fix it.
Very grim. It seems, I don't know.
I actually haven't looked into that game all that much, because I just heard Ubisoft making NFT game. It's been out for like a week, and it's already bombed so hard it's left a crater in Ubisoft stocks, and that's all I needed to know.
Has it left a crater? I didn't think that the stock was craterable.
I don't know. I think that part might have just been me exaggerating it a little bit.
The Ubisoft's had a bunch of fumbles in the last year or like last 12 months. So
One could say.
We spoke about it last time. They're thinking about going private.
Yep.
Which means they will get bought out by Tencent very quickly.
And the thoughts of them going private... no, Tencent is one of the people that want to sell, because they already have stakes in Ubisoft. But yeah, the thought of them going private made their stock prices go back up.
There we go.
Next up, in other studio point and laugh news, PlayStation, unsurprisingly, we're a bit late to the party on this one just because we didn't have an episode out last week, but shutting down Firewalk Studios after Concord was finally taken out to the farm.
Yeah, this is just the final nail in the coffin. Concord is never coming back. It was an abysmal launch, abysmal game. Along with them, Sony also shut down a studio called Neon Koi, which was working on a mobile game for them. They hadn't released anything yet. They had like a mobile game in development, and then I think Sony, I guess, looked at that recently and went, you know what? No.
Yeah, I don't think we need to go too much into the news. I think everyone's pretty aware of the situation.
Yeah, it's not surprising. It sucks for the people that were at the studio, because as far as I know, like the actual game mechanics of the game were great. So it's like, yeah, no, these are talented people who can make a good game. It's just everything else about Concord was off-putting.
Yeah.
I think they said, I'll double check the email, but I'm pretty sure they said they're going to try and cultivate people into other parts of the PlayStation Studios area.
Yes. Yeah.
No, they're fucked.
Herman Holster put out a letter that was just very corporate speak. It was a very off-putting corporate speak the entire time. And he still doubles down on them trying to do more live service push, even though this should be a lesson of like, maybe that live service push isn't doing great. But yeah, I feel like the writing was on the wall with this one. Like, even if Firewalk was given a second chance, their studio name, much like 343 for Halo, is dragged through the mud so much that people wouldn't trust anything they make next.
Good to move on.
Yeah, good to move on. I said my piece.
Don't forget that they got that episode of that TV show coming out for Concord.
Yeah, it's going to be very funny to watch come out.
Imagine that episode
is actually really beloved and people enjoy it so much that they wish they could play Concord.
I just think back to the hey, sorry Sony, we're real busy that weekend. Please re-release Concord.
Yeah, it's
put it back in beta.
Yeah, so when that Cyberpunk Edge Runners came out, that jumped Cyberpunk 2077 to the top because that was good.
But that was also a good anime.
Yeah, and that was in like a series as opposed to one episode in a fucking weird Amazon video game jerk off moment or something.
We call them anthology series.
Jerk off moment, same thing. Prove me wrong, Seth. When's that out? Let's out like
It comes out December, I think.
December? I thought it was next year. Fuck, it's soon. Cool.
Well, from sad news to happy news, Funny Little Guy has hit 1.5 million sales in 2 months. And by funny little guy, of course, I'm referring to Astrobot, the funniest, littlest guy.
I'm conflicted about this one because 1.5 is good. Don't get me wrong, but I was hoping it would be at least 2 million by now. But at the same time, Black Friday is around the corner, so I think those sales are going to shoot up with like good word of mouth spreading, and just parents getting the game for kids, because this information is coming from a financial report from Sony, because everyone's doing their quarterly reports right now for the last quarter of the financial season. And Sony was like, yeah, no, so Astrobot came out, it sold 1.5 million units, and 35% of that those sales were people trying a brand new thing, because they're not our usual customers, sort of speak. It's like, no, this was like a brand new audience coming in to check out this game. So this was like more than a third of the people buying this game were just coming over to PlayStation just to check out Astrobot. And that's good. That's a healthy spread. So hopefully that means they make more games like this, where it's like aimed at all ages. So they're not just catering to like our age bracket with all of their games. They're like catering to everyone to try and get a massive appeal.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I sort of know what you mean as well. All the hype, you'd think that 1.5 is perhaps a bit lower than expected, but I also wonder how much of that's kind of just consequential of the state of how many PS5s are out there.
Yeah, I think the numbers recently was like there's 60 million PS5s out, maybe 65 million. It's a decent chunk.
I think that's more than I would have thought. Anyway,
it's tracking just below what the PS4 sold in a similar time frame, like just a few million behind it.
Pretty good going. Well, next up we have Perfect Dark is the new home of the Wolverine creative director Brian Horton.
This one's an interesting one.
These two games are never coming out.
No, we know Wolverine is coming. That leak showed that game is real.
Oh, it's true, they did too. But like, Perfect Dark's not coming out.
Yeah, it's like what's slated for next year, and they're getting a brand new creative director on the game. That's
a
red flag material.
That's Redfall moment. Look, I don't want. Yeah, like it's. Look, maybe he's just like doing some final touch-ups. Like we did see the gameplay trailer, like a generic trailer for Perfect Dark at
which looks scripted and fake to me.
100% was scripted, borderline all CG. But like, yeah, for them to be bringing in a creative director, don't have my tummy make a big growling noise, just as I'm wiping type of energy. I don't know. I was trying
What
to
type
make
of
a poo
energy is
joke.
that?
It's poo joke. Like it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I fucked it. Fumbled.
Not your best material.
Not my worst.
Well, speaking of best material, would we say that the Spyro Reignited trilogy would be the best material on Game Pass? Because that's where it currently is today, actually.
Thanks for beta testing PlayStation. No, I've never played a Spyro game, and
What do you mean beta testing? It's already on Xbox. You're just
no,
getting it with your subscription now.
When it was out on the original PlayStation, you were beta testing it for us. I don't know. I've never played the original Spyro games. I always wanted to, but I didn't have a PlayStation growing up because my parents loved me, so they got me an Xbox Huge. Are these good games?
It sounds like punishment.
Punishment? Nah, it's a good boy. Like, are they good games?
Yeah, no. The Spyro games are great. Some really fantastic platformers. Not the best ones, but they're a lot of fun.
Okay. We'll see how I go. What about you, Pat? Do you actually don't care?
It's weird because I had a PS2. I just never got into Spyro. I just had other games, or I played other games that filled a similar niche, I guess. Like I was like a sly Ratchet and Clank player, enjoyer.
Yeah, PS2 especially was a bad time for Spyro because that was after it got handed off Insomniac to other development studios, and they didn't have the same quality as the PS1 games did.
Do you reckon they're doing this like trial whether they should invest more into the Spyro brand?
I think this is just part of them slowly rolling out Activision games onto Game Pass.
Yeah, because I was going to say we've seen a similar thing with Crash, right? And
yeah, Crash was like last
wasn't
month.
enough to that wasn't enough to fish them back.
Yeah, and Diablo was put on a couple months ago. I think it did a big Blizzard dump on Game Pass a while ago.
Yeah, when they finished the
and it also put Blizzard games on Game Pass, not just the dump.
Yeah, StarCraft as well came out this month, and remastered and 2 is on Game Pass now. Yeah, you're probably right. It is probably just the drip feed. But surely they're doing some sort of tracking internally.
There's been rumors for a long time that the studio, Toys for Bob, the studio that did Crash 4, and also this Spyro remastered trilogy, that they're working on a Spyro 4. But that's been rumored for a long time, and nothing's come up out of it just yet.
Same with Perfect
Maybe at the Game Awards.
Yeah, Banjo 3.
Banjo's never happening. Rare does not want to do it.
I don't care what Rare wants to do. I want it. I want Banjo 3. I want them to nuke everybody that worked on Nuts and Bolts. That's all I'm asking for. It's not a lot.
I'm going to look at those credits and see if Phil Spencer was involved somehow.
Probably was.
But yes, continue with the news docket while I look at this.
Well, if you're going to continue looking at that, then I guess we'll need to get the Steven take on whether the trailer for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has got you enthralled or not.
It's not even a fucking trailer, it's a deep dive. Another fucking gameplay deep dive. If I watch this plus the other fucking every 2 months they release 30 minutes of gameplay about this game. If I watch this, have I actually played the game?
Phil Spencer is in the Nuts and Bolts credits, but as a special thanks, so he gets to live.
He doesn't. He's in the credits. Fucking special thanks. Jesus Christ.
The special thanks can be as small as he brought donuts to us once.
Yeah.
And we're thanking him for it in the credits.
He sent us a good email one time thanking us for our hard work. But no, Indiana Jones, I am looking forward to it. I think especially when I saw that that trailer they did at fucking what was that thing in July? The Summer Games Fest. They did that 20-minute thing there, and I watched that, and that kind of reinvigorized my, for lack of a better word, desire, and my interest in this game. I'm fucking getting it. Well, it's on Game Pass day one, so I legally have to get it, or I have to hand in my Xbox. But I'm very interested. I get the feeling this game will be good, and Xbox needs a win, Lord forbid. And I think it's coming out in a good time where, there's no direct.
There's no competition.
There's no direct competitor, and even a direct in the same genre, that kind of exploration type of thing. There's no of the new Tomb Raiders coming out, or there hasn't been an Uncharted for some time. So I think it's definitely a watch this space. The Steven take is that probably within the first 2 months, they announce some sort of DLC to make the whole game third person. That's because I still think it's fucking insane that this game is first personing, like combat and adventure, but it's third person when you're climbing. Like insane. Like you can rip off Uncharted, it's fine. Who cares? We know you're doing it, but
it's a good formula.
Yeah, and there's no need to be like, oh, we're only ripping off Uncharted when we're climbing. You fucking cares, man.
Uncharted was already a rip-off of Indiana Jones. Just say you're claiming it back.
Yeah. We hate PlayStation.
No, you hate PlayStation. I hate Sony.
Thank you for the important distinction.
Yeah, thanks, man. But yeah, no, that's it for the. I'm excited.
Cool. Well, guess we gonna move on. We get to move on to the announcement of the Halo 2 E3 2003 demo.
This is fucking insane. Did you just hear what you fucking said? This is insane. I literally, when I woke up and I saw this fucking thing, I thought I was having a fucking fever dream. This is like, I'm not even going to let you finish it, fucking Pat, because this is like the rant that I've been holding in for the past fucking half an hour.
Oh boy, here we go.
Or when like Seth was filling out the docket and he's like, should we talk about this? And I'm like, we have to fucking, I just have to talk about this for fucking 20 fucking minutes. In what universe does a company think, you know what we need to release? A fucking demo from E3 2003 for a game that came out so long. I don't, the studio is rebranded. Like it's, Bungie made this, and then it was 343.
Yeah, this is a win for that
studio.
rebranded studio name. They're giving the fans what they wanted.
Nobody was asking for this. Nobody in the past 20 years has thought about asking for this. The game's been out.
No one asked for it, but they're giving it, and it's like, oh, hey, I appreciate this. Thank you.
It's insane. 4 people are going to play this. But and the worst
and they all work at Kinda Funny Games.
see, Steve, I actually think it'd be worse. I think it'd be worse because I think all the people that will play this are going to go, man, I remember how good the original trilogy is and how bad recent Halos have been by comparison.
Yeah, it might even be that. It might even be like, hey, remember Halo 2? You guys want a remaster? Here's the demo from 2003. I don't understand. Like, this is
what
so...
What are they, The Last of Us? Are they going to remaster a remaster that came out like 5 years ago?
Oh, they're going to try.
It's just so far out of touch. They have to be playing 5D chess. Like, they're playing a game that I can't comprehend the rules of to do this. Like, I would love to be in this meeting and it's like, you know what we should release? The Halo 2 demo from 2003. And everyone's like, yeah. Like, I
think you're overthinking this.
How can I not? They released a demo from a game. I honestly don't think I understand. Like, how many drugs does a person have to take to be like, you know what? 21-year-old game demo. This is what we're releasing.
Halo needs a win right now.
And it's part of like the Halo Master Chief Collection. It's not its own separate thing. You have to re-download. I don't understand.
I mean, most Halo fans,
I
think most Halo fans would more likely have Master Chief Collection installed than they would Halo Infinite.
Oh, yeah, you're right. But I don't know. This is just insane. Like, I
think it's one of those neat things where it's like, this was an E3 only demo and it's been kind of lost to time because it was never publicly made available. So it's like, yeah, after all this time, like, so is it even to celebrate like an anniversary at all? But
I don't think so. That's it coming out of nowhere.
Celebrating the game's 20th anniversary.
Oh,
so to celebrate Halo 2 turning 20, they're like, hey, that demo that was never publicly available but was like a showpiece at E3 to get people excited for the game all those years ago. Why not release it? Why not make it publicly available and like relive that excitement of seeing it at E3?
I still
think
everyone
likes Halo 2.
I still think this is insane. What's next? Final Fantasy 13 versus?
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
We're getting a Verum Rex now.
Yeah,
which is Latin for true king. Because Final Fantasy 15 is the false king.
Fuck you. Move on.
Hey, don't blame me. That's Nomura making those little metaphorical jabs at it.
Nah, you just make coming out of nowhere. All right, move us on, Pat.
Aye, Captain. Do you guys know that Power World's getting sued by Pokemon? You know, that thing that we said would happen for like months?
I
said
might have had an
happen.
inkling to it, yeah.
Well,
So we hate
Pocket Pair
Nintendo.
has detailed the lawsuit that Nintendo and the Pokemon Company has filed against it.
It's dog shit. Who would have thought?
It's over the patent of throwing a spear at monsters to capture them, which Nintendo patented after Power World came out in Japan.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, Kevin, because I think that's the dumbest part of all of this.
Very curious how this is going to work out for them. It's a bold strategy.
I reckon like there's no way this happens, and like they have to be sure. Like especially a company like Nintendo, known for just taking legal action for funnies. Like they have to be like sure it's gonna work out.
Yeah, no, I don't think they would have done it unless they were like positive it would go in their favor. But like as an outsider looking in at it, it's like I don't see how they came to this decision. They patented it afterwards. You can't retroactively do this.
Yeah, I know.
At least I assume you can't retroactively do this. I guess we're going to find out.
I feel like Japan's
Is it-
kind of weird with some of that kind of like commercial law stuff, though.
Yeah, they're always doing funny Japanese things.
Let's try not to make this about race, all right, Steve?
Yeah, that's coming off a little xenophobic.
That's fair point. Fair point. I apologize to the Japanese people. You know what? I'm just gonna stop.
Smartest thing you've ever said.
That's a season
Well, not
9
that-
Stephen move right there. Character growth.
This is just like that time that it doesn't.
Oh dear. Anything else to mention on this? I don't know if there's too much else we can add.
Not really. It's like I said, that's how the patent worked out. I'm curious how it's going to work out for them because doing it retroactively seems very stupid.
Yes.
If Nintendo wins this, it's going to make some legal ideas very concerning.
And then Nintendo will be able to sue anyone for having fun with their games, which is, of course, their grand scheme.
Actually, on this
Finally,
topic, I
thank
find
God.
it very stupid that you can just patent and make illegal for other people to do video game mechanics. Like, Namco has had the patent for loading screen mini games.
They do.
Warner
It's a fucking
Brothers-
travesty. That's a crime they took that from us. I hate Namco Bandai for that bullshit. Dog shit, man. And we've
Warner Brothers has the patent for like the Nemesis system in
Yeah.
general, so no one else can
For-
use that. And there's been no game that's come out since Shadow of War that's used it. Apparently, that Wonder Woman game is going to use it, but I don't know anyone excited for the Wonder Woman game, and we don't know how far that's out. So that's just been like a concept that's been buried for 5 years. Very insane that you can just lock down ideas like that through patents.
Hmm.
I hate
What a
IP
time to be
law.
alive.
There should be one
This
idea.
isn't even
Anyway.
IP law. This is idea law.
Oh, true.
Idea law. Idea lord. We'll workshop it. Anyway, next up,
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles X, the definitive edition, has been announced for Switch.
About fucking
I mean-
time this happened.
March 2025.
All 4 people that
Ever
played this
since the
game on the
Switch
Wii
came
U
out-
will be very happy.
Ever since the Switch came out, I've been begging for them to do Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Switch just to save it from the Wii U.
Have you played Xenoblade Chronicles X?
No, because it was on the Wii U.
Didn't you have a Wii U?
I did for a couple of years, but I had like
What do you
2
mean?
games for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's never, having a console has never stopped you from playing the game.
I played Xenoblade Chronicles 1 on that Wii U, and then I was like, Xenoblade Chronicles 1 was a 100-hour game that I am a little burnt out of. I will wait. And then I never got around to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because the Switch came out and they announced
You mean
Xenoblade
X?
Chronicles 2.
X.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yes. X is the second game, but it's not 2.
I know, insane. And apparently it's not in the same universe as Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3.
There might be some connection based on Xenoblade Chronicles 3 stuff from what I've heard. I think they might have absorbed the EX world into the Xenoblade world.
There's no direct reference from what I can remember. Even
I
with
think
the
one of
DLC,
the characters show up.
it's probably just a fucking vague reference. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's coming out in like March next year. enhanced visuals. Monolith Soft is doing fucking what they do good. Look
And
cool.
it's keeping the Switch alive with great RPGs.
Interesting. This is coming out in March. Yeah, next year. We are not seeing that Switch 2 for some time.
You mean the successor to the Nintendo Switch, TM?
Sorry. The Switch successor, some may say.
I mean, it doesn't matter
the
too
Switch,
much
if you will.
because I'm sorry for stealing your thunder, Patrick, but they just confirmed that the Switch successor will, in fact, play Switch games.
Which is why it's funny that they've said that this is coming for the Switch. Do you reckon that they had to say that this is coming for the Switch because officially the successor still doesn't exist?
Well,
or
that's like
they're actually targeting the successor with this?
Yeah, well, I can't remember if we report on this 3 weeks ago that like the ukulele remaster is coming to Nintendo consoles. Because you're fucking cowards and wouldn't say the new Nintendo Switch. Insane
it's one of those. I think it's one of those things because back when Sonic Forces was announced, they're like it's coming out on PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo NX because that was the code name for the Switch at the time, and they hadn't officially announced the name yet. So,
and just like I
think if they wanted to say it was going to be,
you give it to us.
I think if they wanted to say it was going to come as like an option for the next console, it would say Switch and Switch successor on the trailer
the
promo
Switch
materials.
And Switch?
Yeah, exactly.
Or
the Switch
Sword
logo
Shield?
and then the Switch logo inverted and mirrored.
I can't wait until they fucking announce that thing. Holy shit!
If
Worst
nothing
kept
else,
secret.
it means that they can stop putting the byline down of, hey, we will not discuss the successor to the Nintendo Switch at this direct. Please stop asking.
To be honest, I find it kind of charming now that they're doing that.
Or when they do a tweet, hey, it's Fujimoto-san.
I have something to announce. It's not the Switch successor. It's just financials. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We have a new device. It's an alarm clock. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles X. Coming soon.
I've heard very mixed things about that game. I'm going to be very excited to try it out for myself.
Have you heard very mixed things about Nintendo announcing music streaming for Nintendo Switch Online members?
Yes,
God.
actually.
God, every fucking day with these fucking guys. If only I just don't understand why they need their own fucking app for this. I don't understand.
Because why would they let you listen to rips on YouTube when you can pay the Nintendo Online subscription to listen on their app?
But they could put it on Spotify.
And why would they
and
put
then
it on
get,
Spotify if they don't get a cut of that that Spotify app money?
They do. They get like 0.001 cent per play. I
think Nintendo just erased him.
Yeah.
He was about to talk shit.
Okay, someone else talk. I think my internet's playing up again.
Yeah, you started talking shit about Nintendo and they erased you on the spot.
It's a Pinkertons.
No, I've heard. So yeah. First off, it sucks that they're using this as a justification for taking down YouTube rips of their music because that's just shitty in general that they did that. But on the actual quality of the app, I've heard mixed things about it in that like they've got these cool features where they take their songs and you can do extensions of them to be like, hey, I want to listen to this like 15 minutes long or 30 minutes long or 60 minutes long, and it'll play that song on loop with like the proper in-game looping points, which is a really neat detail that they added. But also it's like all their older systems that have like synthesized soundtracks, they sound off compared to what they actually did in the games. So it's not like completely 100% accurate music if it's like a synthesized one. So you take some of the good and you take some of the bad with this. Give Nintendo money to listen to their music.
I don't even know what to do with that info, I'll be honest.
The negative on like the synthesized thing is like very hardcore audiophile sort of complaints. But I think the idea of them doing like the looping points and like people like listening to our songs on extended playlists. Let's just make the app allow you to extend the music through there. It's like a really cool idea.
Why don't they just fucking release the music themselves on YouTube? Why is it this separate app? God, every fucking day with Nintendo.
More justification for having a subscription.
Whatever. Every fucking day with these guys. Can't make it easy for me.
It's like when they make the Nintendo Entertainment System controllers for the Switch, and then they're like, you can only buy this if you're a Nintendo Switch Online member.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, very good. All right, we get to move on.
Yeah,
Always.
Nintendo do Nintendo things.
Yep. We briefly touched on the successor also being able to play Switch. Anything else you wanted to fish out of this article?
Just good that everyone expected it. It's good that it's a confirmation that it's happening. And if they had said otherwise, it probably would have sunk that console.
I think it does put it into a weird spot is that whether or not this is a day one for me, because I'm sure there'll be like some day one title that can only be played on Switch successor, but things like Breath of the Wild technically came out on Wii U and the Switch. So with how massively successful the Switch has been, whether the day one titles would also be switchable as opposed to needing the Switch successor to enjoy them.
Brother, the Switch hardware is so ancient, I need to get rid of that day one.
Yeah, I've had my Switch.
I'm still rocking. Yeah. I'm still rocking an OG midnight launch 2017 Nintendo Switch myself.
Ooh, it's funny when you go to.
I don't know if mine's a midnight launch one, but mine's like batch one.
It's funny when you go to like Pokemon events. Some people, oh fuck yeah, full art Sabrina, how good. Sorry, I just opened my pack. Going back to Pokemon TCG.
It's cute when I do it. It's annoying when you do.
Nah, fuck you, man.
I did it during the appropriate time.
Nah, but anyway, so I'll go to like Pokemon events, and some people will have like the kickstand that's like with the newer Switch, whereas I've just got the fucking shitty little peg, and it's like, oh, hey, you still rocking that Switch? I'm like, yeah. And then my battery lasts for like 45 seconds, and theirs lasts for like the whole tournament. I'm like, oh, can we move to a charging spot? I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah. But anyway, don't know why they're doing this as an app if you can't tell. It's tickled my fancy.
Wait, how did you go from talking about the Switch getting a successor back? I'm not going to question it anymore. Let's move on.
Probably for the best.
I'm stopping that train of thought right now. I don't need to understand how Steven's mind works.
Probably also for the best.
Definitely for the best. Right. Moving on. Finally, we have the best news last. Super Nintendo World Direct talking about the Donkey Kong Country update. That's not the right phrase.
Expansion?
Yeah. DLC.
Fucking DLC unveiling. For a physical park.
Yeah. It's we call it on-disc DLC.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, yes, so Donkey Kong Country is now open as part of Super Nintendo World in Universal Studios Japan, which is an amazing place. Highly recommend going there if you can. One
day.
I will probably be going in January. I will be going in January.
That direct was pretty interesting. They kind of showed nothing of value though, except for like as this Sunday that comes inside a really nice Donkey Kong mug, and I need them to sell that Donkey Kong mug separately because that's one of the nicest mugs I've ever seen.
Maybe Santa will bring you one for Christmas.
God, I hope so. I've been a good boy this year.
Shouldn't have said it like that.
Yeah, it looks fun.
Yeah, they only showed it's basically like a tourist attraction area that I think there's only like one ride, which is based on the minecart rail sections of the Donkey Kong Country games. But everything else is like, hey, go hang out with Donkey Kong, go listen to Cranky Kong yell at you and call you an idiot. Play the bongos to make Rambi come out of a box. It's all just like tourist attraction stuff, and that's fine. That's all it really needs to be.
Yeah. I don't really have anything to add, to be honest.
The last thing I want to add is that I am very disappointed that they did not tweet out beforehand that the Nintendo Switch successor would not be at this direct, so I was expecting it the entire time.
Yeah, so was I.
While he's walking around the park, he just like trips over it and picks it up off the ground.
All the
Donkey Kong just jumps out of his house with it.
The Donkey Kong game announced. This is a day one game. It's Breath of the Wild with Donkey Kong. Holy shit, hang on.
Oh, winning Kong.
There's actually been, since like the middle of the Switch gen, the big rumor has been that the Mario Odyssey devs are making a Donkey Kong 3D game.
They've been saying that since the dawn. They've been saying that before fucking
with
I was
with
born.
The same platforming mechanics with Cappy.
He throws like Diddy Kong and he jumps.
I was going to say he throws squawks.
No. He throws his tie.
Oh.
His tie is actually just a clip-on tie.
I don't know if I'm ready to see Donkey Kong without the tie on, even if it's only for a couple of seconds as he's jumping.
Make it R18, he's naked then.
I was going to say he's completely naked. What someone think of the children?
And if it's a bad game, you can use the tie to hang himself.
It's like Sonic without the gloves.
It's Sonic without the shoes.
Of course, he went for the feet one.
Yeah, I thought of it. It's like, yeah, you reckon Sonic's like into feet? Because he's used to running and stuff.
Here we go.
Get those blue grippers out.
Uh,
let me sniff them grippers.
I think I heard Patrick actually retch at that one.
My soul left my body.
You can use the tie from Donkey Kong Odyssey to hang yourself.
That's going to be how DK goes out.
It's going to be how I go out. Oh, man. Anyway, well, that brings us to the end of the news section and the end of episode 123. No audience question this week, but if you have enjoyed what you've been listening to or just want to get in touch, we're on Fast Travel Lounge, the good old mailbag at gmail.com. Fast Travel Lounge, the X the Everything app, minus one of the L's, the one that Elon somehow took from all of the United States of America. Very impressive showing. fasttravellounge.bluesky.social and Facebook at Fast Travel Lounge. Anything we want to hint at for episode 124?
Metaphor. I'll be talking about Metaphor.
What will I be talking about? Probably a video game. Kingdom Come Deliverance, maybe?
This man was playing Kingdom Come Deliverance for 17 hours when he was meant to be working.
What were you doing on Discord while you were working?
I always have Discord open while I'm working.
You're in fucking
It's a messaging app.
Do you actually use it at work?
No.
Yeah, you bastard. Fucking got him. Caught in 4K, I'm telling your boss. What's your boss's name?
We use Google Chats. We use Google Chats for work, which is way more prone to being hacks. I've
started this new gig type of thing for like 2 weeks, so I have to use Teams and Slack. I hate it, man. Dog shit.
God, Teams sucks.
I know Teams is fine. Teams is fine. It's messaging. Who fucking cares? That's all I need it for. And drag and drop in files, and I like it. But to use Slack as well, insane.
The Xbox player.
I caught up with a mate of mine that works at Microsoft, and I was like, let me just tell you about all my issues with Teams. And he's like, I'm going to stop you right there. As bad as you think Teams is for you, I have to dog food that, which in software terms just means that he has to test it before it gets released to the public. So he's seen some shit.
Do not envy that
piece
at
of
all.
software. Man, that'd be send me that. I don't get a beer with that guy. He seems like every story I've got with Teams, he'd be like, I've got you 40 more that are worth.
Yeah. Oh, it only crashed on you? Very good. Anyway, well, I've been Patrick. I've been joined by Saif and Steve. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Happy birthday, Halo 2 2003 E3 anniversary. Why do you exist?